One of the incidents, we were outside a restaurant and we were having just an argument in the car that kind of just turned pretty bad. He actually punched me in the face, and the workers saw it through the window. One time he was so intoxicated, he held his gun straight at me across the room.
Like, what do you do there?
What do? I just stand there and hope he puts it down. He convinced me to have a baby with him.
Yeah.
And I had a miscarriage. I go in there, he's laying on the ground sleeping, and my infant child is in the bathtub with it running. I knew that point forward, I could never trust this person again.
What would you say to someone that's being strong and silent through their pain?
Just don't wait too long. I've waited a long time to kind of come forward and talk about these issues. You can do it. Like, you can be strong and get past anything. This is my story, and this is what has made me who I am today. And truly, I feel like a whole different person than I was.
What is up, everybody? This is Joe Adams, and welcome to the Relentless Pursuit Podcast. What we do on this podcast is bringing guests from all different backgrounds, all different walks of life to share their journey and everything along the way that led them to where they're at today. This podcast is a reminder of what's real, unfiltered stories, raw emotion, and the kind of human connection that can't be faked. We're here to make an impact, and that is what we do. So if that is for you, like, subscribe, all those wonderful things. And if that is not for you, I don't know what your problem is, but it's time to jump on board today. Thank you.
I love it.
I run out of breath. But without further ado, I would love to introduce today's guest, McKenzie.
Excited to be here. So
Yeah, I'm glad to have you.
I know.
It's wild having you here
it's crazy.
because you're a familiar face I haven't talked to in years.
Literally. I think
Yes.
it's been like, what, 5 years, 6 years?
Probably since longer than that.
Probably.
Since like 2018.
Yeah. Long time.
Yeah, like 7 years.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah, so McKenzie and I go back. I don't know what details to go into on that, but we mutual friends. We knew each other.
Yep.
And we were in the Mount Juliet area. Actually, I moved into an apartment in Mount Juliet with an old friend. And you were
The leasing agent.
I
know.
Yes.
That's literally how we met.
Yeah. That's what it is.
You guys all stomped in the office and,
Oh, like, who are these psychopaths?
who are I know, all the tattoos, all the stuff, but
Yeah. And so we've known each other since then. And, at I think 2017 is when I kind of stepped away from, Mount Juliet pretty much.
Mhm.
And I think we just kind of lost touch.
yeah.
But we followed each other.
Yes.
And then you reached out to me recently.
I know. I honestly tried to message you so many times and just kept deleting my message. I was like, I'm not ready. And then I just kind of got the guts and messaged you and was like, I feel like, yeah, I got a calling. I kind of told you that earlier. I just felt like watching your podcast. I've always, even though we've distanced ourselves and, haven't ran into each other in years, I've always kind of followed your journey on Facebook and everything. And
Yeah.
after just watching so many people share their story, I just felt like it was time for me to come in. And
Yeah.
now I'm here.
It means the world too,
Yeah.
that's really cool because I have a lot of guests be like, man, I hope my story impacts somebody or whatnot. And this is just proof of that. Like, it moved you. This story's moved you enough to feel liberated enough
Yeah.
to get out here and do this thing.
Yeah.
Because it's vulnerability.
For sure.
It's a lot.
It is.
So I'm proud of you for taking that step. And, it's like, damn, how many times did you message me? Almost message me.
I know.
This, the timing's, this is the perfect time.
Yeah. I feel like I'm ready. And just after hearing so many people share their stories, I just felt honestly obligated or like a calling that my story could maybe help someone else. And that's how I felt.
So I do got some questions for you. McKenzie, what does life look like for you today?
Well, I have two amazing children. They're very young,
Okay.
4 and 5. So they are in kind of their prime time of life, kindergarten, preschool, all the activities. So I am a full-time mom. I do have a great job. I'm a consultant for a pet industry company here, actually located literally local. And so I work for them from home. I'm kind of remote. I kind of go to all different locations, and really, I just really get to dive into my children's like day-to-day activities, which I love.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. It's hard to say. What do you think your favorite age is so far?
Oh gosh.
Because I'm loving like the 2.5 stage
I know.
right
I
now.
will say they're hilarious when they're like 2, and now 4 and 5. They've moved to the sassy, starting to get their true personality. I always tell my mom always says this to me. I was just like my children, and she always says like, "Oh, you're gonna have kids, just like you when you're older, stubborn, strong-willed."
Yep.
And now I truly believe that because I have 2 of them.
100%. Yeah.
So, but I will say, my kids are very strong-willed, but I feel like that's where, I was like that as a child.
Yeah.
I feel like they're going to go places with that. They're going to be CEOs of companies, hopefully someday,
Hell yeah.
or whatever they want to do. But at least they're going to have that, that strong personality to get there. So
That's awesome.
yeah, I'm going through the chaos right now. But it will in the end, I feel like get better. They, can handle their emotions better.
And you'll just get better at,
dealing
being
with
a parent.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
We're learning together.
And you talked about the sass and the personality coming out. Like, mine's already doing that. I was trying to get her to clean up her toys the other day.
Oh gosh.
And she goes, and I'm like, you're 2.5.
Rolling the eyes.
Rolled your eyes already. I'm like, where the hell did you get that?
Oh, my son's favorite term, he tells me, "You're not the boss of me." And he'll look straight at me and be like, "You're not the boss of me."
Really?
And I'm like, "Who's the boss of you then?" And my mother told me, I used to say, "God's the boss of me." So I'm like, I feel like they just, I don't know where he learned it from, but I feel like my mom's like, "Don't worry, every kid goes through that stage of you're not the boss of me,"
Just in his
and
blood.
I know. And I'm just like, he is sassy, and just, you have a little girl, and, I have a girl and a boy, and, girls are just sass and all personality. Boys are like a whole other creature. They are just, he's a whole other human being. He's just wild.
Yeah, I know.
So,
before we dive forward, I do got to say, because Lydia and I are trying for another right.
oh, awesome.
And I'm just like, I love being a girl dad.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I'd be fine with like 5 freaking girls.
Mm-hmm.
Something about it is just such a special thing. I'm not opposed to having a boy. I just want healthy kids, right?
Oh, for sure.
If we have a boy, though, I'm like, but I can't like be all mushy and like,
Yeah.
girl dad. So I got to like adjust. Like, how the
sure.
hell am I going to do this? But it would be really cool to have like a mini me.
Oh, for sure.
My
daughter.
We'll see what we're blessed with.
Is like a mini Mac. My childhood name was Mac.
Yeah.
All my family calls me that. But she is. She plays soccer already, just like me. I grew up playing soccer and stuff like that, and just being an athlete. And she definitely is. But she loves to have her toenails still painted at night and get her hair done. So she has a little bit of that spunk, athletic, little tomboy personality.
Yeah.
And then she also likes to be very girly girl, and so
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, I feel like with every child, you just kind of are learning, I feel like there's no parenting book that can get you through, it's just, you got to learn as they go.
Exactly.
So,
because every kid's different, you can't parent them all the same. So
Exactly.
you just what it comes down to is just being intentional.
and
That's
being
what
present and just being there. I think you said trust, which is huge for me as well. Another thing is like, I always want my children to know, like, I'm always going to be there.
Yeah.
No matter what.
That's really cool.
And so a lot of discipline that I've learned is like, at the end of it, I always hug my children. I'm like, come in and hug me and let me hold you tight,
Yes.
and cause I'm going to be disappointed or I'm going to be upset with you for acting this way. But at the end, I love you.
And people may think that like, I'm just not much of a spanker.
Yeah.
And like, if I have like popped her before and I just look at her face and I'm like,
oh my gosh, I know.
And it's like hitting myself. I'm like, bad dad. No, I'm just kidding. No, but my whole thing is like telling her, like, I sit with her. I'm like, listen, it's okay. You're freaking out. Like your emotions. I know it's okay to be emotional. Yeah. But you can't throw the cat. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like we told her to put the cat down. She's just like
tossed it.
Yeah. But the cat's just like, okay.
Yeah.
Intention.
Yes, for sure.
So you're in a place of healing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, we kind of said that at the beginning of this, right? You wanted to share your story and it's been a lot on you. So I think that kind of gives people the idea of where the direction this is going to go. Mm-hmm. Real quick, are you in a relationship now?
I am. Yes.
How's that going?
Amazing. We've been together almost 2 years.
Nice.
Honestly, like how you said you feel about Lydia just being like your best friend. Yeah. That's literally like I've never felt the support emotionally, and just working and he's coming in. I've been a step parent before. It's hard. It's very challenging. Yeah. And he is just like amazing. He jumps in, helping my kids, things I don't even ask. And it's just, my kids love him, and
so good. Yeah.
It's just a great relationship and so healthy. And to be honest, I've never been in a more healthy relationship.
Good for you.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, it's crazy. We don't live together. I have my house, he has his. And, but like when we're not together, we FaceTime. Like we're like in high school, it's like, we don't see each other, maybe for a few hours at nighttime because he goes to his house, I go to mine. Yeah. And he's like, okay, I'm going to call and FaceTime you. I'm like, sure, we just talk, like it's such a great relationship. And, but yeah, I'm really happy where I am with that.
So good.
Yeah.
Well, thank
He's
you
a
for
great
sharing
guy.
that.
Yeah, for
hey,
sure.
Props to, I don't know his name, but props to you, man, for, filling those shoes. To me I've always asked myself, like, could I step into a relationship with somebody that has kids? Like, I'm sure I could, but at the same time, it's like, damn, like, that's a huge responsibility. So good for him and good for you.
Thank you.
Take us back. Where are you from? Let's talk about your childhood a little bit. There's things that have influenced who you become today. You've already said that your parents are a big influence. You can elaborate more on that.
I'm from a little small town on Alaska, Wisconsin. Everyone growing up thought I was from Alaska
Really?
when I would say that. Yes, and I would have to be like, Wisconsin after.
I'm not going to lie. I got a little confused. I was like, oh, wait, Alaska or Wisconsin?
It's O and then Alaska.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, so it's on Alaska.
On Alaska.
Yeah, crazy. Dang. It's literally, we're right on the Mississippi River, like on Minnesota and Wisconsin border. Okay. I grew up there. Well, I lived in Minnesota for actually until 5th grade. So, and then literally just moved right over the Mississippi River to good old Wisconsin.
Hell yeah.
So I moved there in 5th grade. That's kind of where everything started. And like I said before, I was an athlete. I grew up really with like a athletic family. So my dad played college football at UW La Crosse, which La Crosse, Wisconsin is only about 15 minutes away from where I'm from. So very local. My parents grew up around the area. They actually are high school sweethearts, dated since 15 years old. And good then, and then I have a brother, an older brother. He was 20 months older than me, I believe. Yeah, close to that. And he also was very athletic growing up. So we were traveling everywhere growing up. We played hockey, soccer, baseball, kind of all the stuff. My mom was the driver of the minivan, the carpool lady.
The soccer mom.
Literally, the soccer mom. Or hockey mom, I would say. We were up north, so we would travel to Canada for my brother's games. And I just was very active as a child. And we were kind of all over just traveling for sports and stuff like that. So
that's really cool.
Yeah. I grew up, my dad, like I said, he played college football. So he was my mom was the cheerleader. My dad was the stern cheerleader coach, always like standing behind I was a goalie in hockey and he'd stand right behind the glass. And I just remember the tap, 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 tap. And I would turn around and my dad would be like, and I'm like, I can't even hear you, Dad, but he was there as supporting us, and my dad gave up a lot like how we talked before of growing businesses from the ground up. I mean, my dad, 21 years old, started his own journey into financial advising.
Yeah.
In a big company. And, he always tells me my mom rode the bus to school. My dad drove their like 2-door vehicle. They paid $400 for rent.
Yeah.
And he hustled, I mean, that's pretty much where I got I feel like my drive, my work ethic, just because I never saw him quit.
That willingness to grind.
Yeah, for sure. And my mom, worked for 20 years until my dad told her, hey, you can stay at home, and be with the kids and be involved in their athletics while my dad's out there hustling, and
so cool.
It was a great something to live up for, like I knew, like, being in this family, like there's no quitting.
It takes that work.
Mm-hmm.
But
and yeah, it just watching that, like growing up, and sometimes my dad wasn't able to be there at my sporting events, but if he was there, and for sure he was cheering for me, and he was, and he loved that. Like that's where we really connected, was sports. It's father daughter, it's sometimes you don't have a lot to talk about with your dad, but we always had sports to talk about, and he'd always critique me, but I knew it was always for the best, and to make me better and to challenge me. And even though he was hard on me sometimes, I knew it was because
it was good for you.
Yeah, it was good for me,
Yeah, I think it's paid off a lot. I mean, hearing you just, as we'll get into later, like, what you've done.
Yeah.
It's obviously made a massive impact.
Yeah.
It's cool too to hear that being a dad.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know, like that is influencing my daughter already.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course.
Hell yeah.
And my brother, we were really close in age. And he actually played for the Phillies baseball team. He got drafted.
That's cool.
Yeah. And so he went on to do, great things as well in the athletic world. But, I was the one that was catching for him, these 100-mile-an-hour balls catching for him when I was younger. Obviously couldn't throw 100 miles an hour then. But, I actually like broke my nose from him and my dad throwing baseballs because I was out there playing with them, So
yeah.
I was that tomboy athletic girl growing up that I wanted to be with the boys, and playing all that. But yeah, so we kind of grew up very much like that.
So that was mostly like your childhood pretty much. And then going into high school, obviously you're playing sports and stuff, I assume.
Yes.
And is that where you'd say some challenges started to happen?
Yeah. So, my freshman year, I kind of met a guy. He was 4 years older than me. He was a senior.
Yeah.
He did not go to my school. He actually went to a different school nearby, a private school, but he played hockey and stuff like that. So I just kind of met, through the athletic world, and whatnot. And I didn't know much about him. And me and my friend actually, we both started dating senior boys at the time. So we were these freshman girls dating these senior boys.
How'd your parents feel about that?
Oh, not good at all. I mean, it was...
as I'd imagine.
Yeah. My best friend, actually, her parents made her like break up with him, with the other senior boys. So, I should have listened, to be honest. And I look now, I have a daughter and I'm like, oh my gosh, I would never have let her date a senior boy, but... I'm strong-willed. I have a strong personality. I don't let people tell me no. And sometimes I have to learn for myself. And it gets me into some situations that are, not good, but I learn from them. And that's why I try not to regret anything I do, but more so look at it as like a learning experience.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's ownership right there.
Yeah.
Like taking ownership of every circumstance. Like, okay, like, what did you learn from it? I mean, that's the beauty in it all right there. So
I felt like that age gap, there was a lot of like, I was a strong-willed person and a strong personality, but in that relationship, I didn't feel that. I felt like I was the underdog or I was less powerful in that relationship because of that age, difference. And I trusted him even though I shouldn't have.
So you're maybe more submissive.
Yeah. And I find myself in relationships like that where I am this very strong, powerful girl, this woman. I mean, I used to do MMA fighting, in college. We'll get into that later, but I used to fight MMA,
For some reason, I think I remember mention of that, years ago.
Yeah.
We didn't dive into it. But.
And, you look at me and you're like, wow, she could kick someone's ass,
Yeah.
Like I think of that, like me, just because I've grown up in that athletic world and that you have to be strong and all that. But I found myself in a very submissive world with my senior boyfriend,
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't, it's weird. I'm not vulnerable like that until I'm in a relationship where it kind of just comes over me like that. And I don't even know how to explain it. It's weird.
Yeah. What would you say was the result of being submissive in that relationship?
Yeah. I mean, the relationship was very abusive. It was my first time ever experiencing a man hit me,
Oh.
Yeah. It was very physically abusive. It was, I mean, talking about it now makes me shake because I don't let myself really go there, and feel those feelings. But yeah, it started out little, just grabbing my arm hard, at parties or, one time I had friends over at my house and he locked me in my bathroom, and was beating me up in there when my friends are outside the restroom, I would have bruises on my arms, but at the time, my friends, my family, I played a lot of sports. So they thought,
That's
she's
what
just,
it was.
it's just getting hit in soccer.
I was about to ask that, hey, how did you keep people from noticing? Yeah.
I just, my mom literally and my friends tell me they thought it was just from sports, I'll never forget there was 2 really, really bad times that were in that relationship that were big turning points for me. One of the incidents, we were outside a restaurant and we were having, just an argument in the car that kind of just turned pretty bad. He actually punched me in the face, and the workers saw it through the window and called the police. And the next thing I knew, I was in the back of a police car getting questioned what happened, why I had marks on my face or, why it was red or whatnot. And I lied and I told him it didn't happen. I mean, it's bizarre. Why would I do that? Why would I cover for him? And it's so crazy. To this day, he still makes me shake. And it's why, how can one person have that over you? And I think, all I wanted to do was be with him truly in that moment. I just wanted everyone to leave and literally just be with him and have him hug me and tell me he's sorry.
Isn't that crazy?
Why would I want to be with an abusive person? Who am I? And at that spot, I was I have no identity anymore. I have nothing. I am holding on to this person that abuses me. I mean, there are times my parents were gone and I was home after school and he busted through my parents' door. One time he broke my parents' door. I was hiding in their closet. And guess what? We fixed it together before they got home. So no one knew the type that happened to me.
Holy shit.
I think of myself now, and I'm I look back and I'm I don't even recognize that girl that was the strong tomboy, that strong, willed girl that didn't let anyone tell her no, you know? And I was so vulnerable. I was so belittled. So, he was older than me 4 years. I just felt helpless in that relationship.
Yeah. It's a big age gap, especially my wife's 5 years younger than me. Right. But we're adults.
Exactly.
We've been through things. We've been through experiences. Right.
Yeah.
And so it's a totally different thing at this stage. But at that stage, when you're still, I'd say people are developing till they die. I feel like I'm constantly going to be growing, and that's the pursuit. Right. But at so I'd say high school is such an early stage of development still, that you're still trying to
figure you out.
Yeah,
exactly.
And unfortunately, this older kid had so much influence over you that he was able to like manipulate you in the way that you kept your mouth shut.
For sure.
And it's heartbreaking.
I didn't drink in high school. You know, I played 3 sports. I didn't want to disappoint my parents, you know, nothing.
Yeah.
But there were 2 times I drank, you know, probably prom night of senior year, obviously everyone. And the other time was with him. And me and my friend went to a party with him and his senior friends. To this day, it was probably the most intoxicated I've ever been in my life. You know, he was not there taking care of me. He was not there making sure I was okay, you know, and I literally have a vision in my head and I can't get it out. And it's laying on a concrete floor in a basement, watching him try and rape my friend in front of me. And I could not do anything about it. I was helpless. I was blackout drunk. And all I remember is literally looking up and he is like trying to rape my best friend at the time, one of my great friends.
The guy you were dating.
Yeah. And I literally like face planted on the concrete floor. And honestly, like I was speechless. To this day, I'm speechless about it because that was probably like one of the lowest moments, you know? And I was like, what is going on?
And you had to witness that at that age.
Yeah. 15 years old.
Oh, God.
Yeah. You know, and we never talked about it. It's never been talked about. Me and her never talked about it, maybe once. But it acted like nothing happened. Like we went to school the next day, pretended like nothing happened, or that Monday, my boyfriend stayed together.
Did he actually do it? Like,
I don't think so.
Oh,
yeah, but definitely like grabbing, pulling on her clothes, trying to pull them off, and I just remember her fighting back, pushing, like, get off of me, you know. And I was laying there, and I couldn't even. I was like. I couldn't move, you know, I was so drunk and I was so helpless. Like I just couldn't move.
What a piece of shit.
Yeah. You know, no one knows that about me. No one knows that happened. You know, no one knows about me and my friend, you know, being there, anything like that. It was just something that happened and we didn't talk about it after that. Like I said, no one knew the extent of what a horrible person he was and what he did to me. And it wasn't just, I'm dating a senior boy and, oh, Mackenzie is making a mistake by dating a senior boy and she's wild. It was, yes, that probably started out bad decision on me, but then I was stuck. I was roped in. I tried to break up with him. I tried to leave him and he would come and beat my ass. And you know, I mean, he would tell me, I'm never going to do it again. I won't do it again. You know, I won't hit you again. Like, just give me one more chance. And I would. And he would continue doing it. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, the only reason I got out of that relationship was junior year. This guy he was a foreign exchange student at the time. And, honestly, my first love of my life, and I'll admit that to this day, he saved me from that relationship. 100%.
Really? How so?
Literally, physically, mentally, emotionally, literally would tell me, like, if that man comes over, like, I am going to be here. I'm going to stand up for you. I'm not going to let that happen to you.
And then
it didn't. I was harassed for years and years and years. My parents had to block that cell phone number on my account.
So even into adulthood?
Yeah, when I was in college. Blowing up my phone still, trying to text me, call me. Years of harassment I got. But I just knew physically I was going to be okay because I had my boyfriend at the time, you know, that literally made me feel so just feel so protected and feel so like no one's going to hurt me.
Yeah.
You know?
Did you end up telling your parents?
I didn't.
Have you?
So they know a little bit. You know, they're going to know.
So they're going to know the most from here.
Yeah.
Oh.
No one knows what happened besides my close friend, maybe my close circle, a handful of people. My mom knows a little bit because she made me go to therapy when I was younger. We were sitting in the therapy session together, and I came out and said that I was abused by my boyfriend. And my mom just sobbed and sobbed. And because she was wondering why I was so angry all the time.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, were there any, like, things about you that changed that were obvious to, you know, your family?
Yeah,
anger,
irritability. You know, I was, I feel like he took a part of my identity away.
The protection, self-protection,
Yeah, and so my mom was like, you know, we need to go talk to someone, you know, and I didn't think I was ever going to say it. I didn't think I was ever going to tell. It just, like, came out, and I couldn't hold it back anymore.
Yeah.
But to this day, my mom doesn't know everything. My dad knew some, not, you know, maybe a little bit, that he wasn't a good guy, obviously, and things like that. But my dad, you know, being the, you know, father, you know, I was afraid of.
It's hard to tell your parents these things.
Yeah.
You know, I told my mom for the first time what happened to me when I was 8.
Yeah.
Just literally several months ago, before I started, like, putting it out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to give her that, and we were at the park with my daughter, and I don't know, just came up.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it was so hard for me to just tell my parents. Like, I always wanted to, and I would tell people, but it's, you don't know. You know, they're not going to be upset with you. I think it's just you have good parents. I have amazing parents as well, right? And you just don't want it to hurt them.
I know.
You know it'll hurt them, because I can only imagine.
I know.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
The pain I'd feel.
And, like, I feel like they would take on maybe some guilt.
Yeah.
And I don't want them to feel guilt. You know, it's like, this stuff happens.
It does.
To people and kids and things like that. And it's horrible, you know, and, but it's no one's fault. It's but that person, that abuser's fault, you know? And, and I feel like I didn't want to disappoint my parents, even though, like, why would it be a disappointment? But it can look as, like, why didn't I listen to them? Or why wasn't I smarter? Why didn't I take the tools that they gave me and not put that into this relationship and see, you know? But I feel like when someone takes that away from you, like your security, your protection, your, you know, takes that away from you and hits you for the first time, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm in an abusive relationship. Like, how did this happen? You know, it's like, it happens so fast that you don't even realize it's happening to you. You don't even realize, I haven't even realized the trauma that happened until probably this past year on everything. You know, I didn't see it as, oh, I was a victim of abuse relationship. I was in an abusive relationship. I didn't think of myself as that person that would be in an abusive relationship, you know, until I look back, I'm like, oh my God, I was, like, at such a young age.
You're actually, like, facing it and feeling it.
Yeah.
At this stage.
Yeah.
I feel, I mean, even my situation is like, I just always just was like, hey, it's part of my life. You know, I am who I am. But then when I really started facing it, you're like, oh shit. And this is something I want to ask you, because it brought me to a lot of understanding of just how I react to certain things, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, betrayal or whatever the case is, like anger, just anger. And I can't stop thinking about it. I got to get somebody back, but it's just like me protecting, you know, that little Joe protecting himself within me. Right. And so I do wonder with that, like, have you maybe recognized some traits of yours and how you react in certain situations that are clearly from that, right?
Yeah. I mean, like, years, I'd just be so irritable and so angry, you know, like someone would say something and I would just pop right off about it, you know, and it was in relationships. I would do that. Yeah. It's like with my significant others, you know, or, because I wasn't secure. I didn't trust anyone I didn't trust, that they were going to take care of me or protect me and stuff like that. So I think I would turn that into like anger, irritability, if they would try and protect me or if they were trying to do something, I would get upset, rather than just like being like, hey, this person is actually trying to help me or support me or, that's, I will say, like this year of growth, I've really worked. I mean, I still get angry and irritable sometimes, you can never take that away from, you, but I've really worked on myself of just really taking a step back and like, why am I irritable? Like, hey, this person has no correlation to my past. I cannot treat them the way that they weren't like that to me. They didn't do those things to me. And that's one thing I take into the relationship I am right now in, a very healthy relationship because, he understands my past and the traumas that I've been to. Not everything, but he does. And so I think he gives me a lot of grace and I'm very grateful for that. But I'm working on it every day, just becoming, a healthy partner in a relationship. And I feel like I'm there with him, but it's taken a lot of work this past year of just feeling those triggers and figuring out like, why am I getting so upset?
Yeah. When he tries to, the way this is my observation, like maybe like when someone tries to help or tries to help, you almost see it as like control.
Yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the smallest things because of that situation probably seem like someone's trying to control you and you've been through that. Mm-hmm. So you immediately are like, whoa, 100%. Don't try to control me. You know what I'm saying? Because now you're like, I can defend myself. Mm-hmm. I get it. Yeah. It's that. But the fact is that you recognize that. It's that self-awareness. That's where I
am right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Recognizing it and understanding like, this is not my past relationships, and I mean, you kind of hit it spot on, like the control factor, I will say like a lot of OCD tendencies from a lot of that. And it's because, my therapist has told me it's because you want to control the situation. You want to control this, you want to control that. And that's what I've kind of manifested it all into, over these years. And, I'm a clean freak now. I mean, I clean every day, I mop every day. And that like helps me come down from that like anxiety and anxiousness, and so it's, like I've kind of manifested that energy into more of like a OCD thing, but, it's really because of the control factor. Like I want to be in control, and in a relationship that obviously doesn't work, and so I've worked on that a lot this past year, I would say, just really growing myself as a partner and being, recognizing that not all people are bad and going to treat me bad and hurt me.
Yeah. It's easy to think that though when you're unaware.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So props to you for being willing to feel that and confront it, because most people just shut that down, but it'll affect their relationships for the rest of their life, but it says a lot about you being willing to confront that. And then on top of that, speak about it. Yeah. That level of vulnerability is huge. Yeah. Did you have a hard time, like really being able to trust other people, moving forward?
Yeah. I mean, I feel
because you obviously trusted him.
Yeah.
So your whole view of trust is skewed, right? So yeah, I'm just curious.
Well, like, I feel like with my friends, I have my close circle of friends, and even from high school, I still have, 2 or 3 of them that I'm still very close with. And since 5th grade, that's where our friendship kind of started. Yeah. And so I've always trusted them. I've always trusted like my close circle. Yeah. But I wound up in another horrible relationship in my early 20s, and I feel like I still I just now feel like I fully have learned from like my mistakes as a child, and not even my mistakes, but just like the learning experiences and things like that. And at the time I still was not able to face it head on. I was young, so I didn't understand, how it affected me, and I didn't understand like why I maybe internally didn't trust this person. It was just, that's who I was at the time.
Of course.
Because I felt like it just, but really, I mean, after that, I was a happy person, you know, or at least on the outside. It was almost like I just suppressed all that and pretend like it never existed.
When did you actually move here?
2016. So I graduated college out of 2015.
Okay.
Went to lacrosse, a private school there. I played soccer in college.
Okay.
And then I did MMA fighting my senior year of college.
Yeah.
And
I didn't mean to cut you off by the way,
no,
too,
you're
because
good.
you were talking about the suppression, but we're kind of transferring.
Yeah.
Going through some of that, touching on some of those things, but transferring into like that next chapter.
Phase of my life. Yeah.
But yeah, MMA, all that shit. I mean, did you actually compete?
I did.
Hell
You
yeah.
can find me on YouTube. Just look me up on there.
That's good shit.
Yeah. So, I trained.
You would never think it, by the way. I mean, but
I know. I am a nice girl. Just put me in the ring, you know, and I'll show you. Yeah. But it was, honestly, I will say that was a very healing time of my life.
help you channel.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I was doing Muay Thai, kickboxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu. I was doing everything. And I literally just gave it, like I lost 40 pounds. I was training 6-7 days a week. I wasn't drinking alcohol. I've never been a big drinker, but I just wasn't drinking.
Yeah.
And I literally just like turned my inner channel on, like, I think that's where I put all my anger and frustration, was literally doing the MMA stuff. And I loved it. It was the best training of my entire life. So fulfilling. I mean, it was incredible. And yeah, it was an awesome time. And then I moved here in 2016. And I actually did some of like MMA workouts and some kickboxing and stuff like that at the gym I was attending.
Yeah.
But I never thought I would probably fight again, just because, you know, I was getting older and, you know, I was in my early 20s, middle 20s, I would say. And I feel like I did that accomplishment, and
it's one of those things, like, you know, I've done some bare knuckle stuff, and I would, you know, if more opportunities come up, I'm down. Because I'm always training boxing, but if you want to go all in, you have to be all in.
For sure.
It's like, you know, if I want to do MMA fights and build my business, it's really one or the other, you know, because it taxes you mentally, physically. Like, you got to be all in on that. And you got to be willing to do maybe a job that like caters more to that rather than,
sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. There's a lot of successful people that do MMA and stuff too, but yeah, if you're at that early stage, you got to like figure out where do you want your path to go. Does that make sense?
Blood, sweat, and tears was in that, you know, and I just knew, like, I was moving here. I started a new job. Like, I couldn't probably show up with like busted nose, bloody nose, you know, things like that. I was getting into my career, you know, and I just felt like that time, like I put everything in, you know, for 2-3 years, I was training and all that. And it was amazing, but I could never give myself up like that. Like I just, there was no time, you know, 100%. I was working and so I did it more for like, just like a workout, you know, I would go to the gym and I'd hit the bags, and, you know, I still would love to do that. You know, I love the workout aspect of like a kickboxing and that type of workout, you know.
Someone comes up to you trying to show you what to do, and you just like knock the bag off the freaking thing. They're like, what the hell? Who is this woman?
You know, so
you're like, what? Yeah.
You're like, I've hit this a few times,
I know. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You should act like you're brand new. Like, oh, thank you. Like,
yes.
But hell yeah, that's pretty badass.
Yeah.
Good shit.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's a good way to channel those things too.
Yeah.
You know, in a productive way. But still, it doesn't heal you.
Yeah.
You know.
For sure.
That's the thing. So, and you're, like I said, at this point, you're getting there. Moving into Tennessee. Yeah. It's a new chapter. It's with some weight on it too. So I'll let you take it.
Yeah. So I started working out at that gym, doing some kickboxing and stuff like that. And at the time I was working as a leasing agent, leasing consultant for like a brand new property complex here in Mount Juliet. And so I was pretty much, the apartments were like under construction, and I was leasing them or renting them out like for future dates, which I love. Like, I love working. Like, I've realized over the years, I love from the ground up things, like a business from the ground up, property from the ground up. I love being able to like show that vision to someone and sell it and really like be involved, you know, and like literally the ground up, you know, building something.
I feel you.
I love that. And so I really kind of got into that more, like into the new lease up properties, which I was actually working in Murfreesboro, and I got transferred over to the Mount Juliet property.
Oh, okay.
And so
LC.
Yep.
Murfreesboro, and okay, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I transferred over to the Mount Juliet one. And so I was going to that gym, and then, I was working at the leasing place, and those, the leasing is, you work every Sunday, like every Saturday and Sunday. Those are like the busy days, it's open 7 days a week. So my life was pretty consumed with like work and going to the gym, working out. And, I didn't know many people here besides the people I worked with. So I was just at the time working away, and stuff like that. So, that's where I met my ex-husband now. I was a leasing agent, and he came in with some friends. And he also attended the gym that I was going to as well.
Okay.
And so we met, we were young. 24, 25, I think 24, probably 23, 24. And right away, I was just like infatuated by him. I was like, he had the tattoos, he was muscular, he had it all. Like, to me, is what it looked like. Yeah. From the outside. On
the surface, yeah.
On the surface, very much surface. But to me, a young girl that moved to Tennessee, and I was single and just working and going to the gym, I didn't, it was like the first guy that I kind of just was like, whoa, who is that?
Yeah, wooed you?
Yeah. And it was the way him and his friends just had something about them. Like, they were the clique of the town,
Like a confidence.
Yeah, like very confident, rolled in, just funny. Conversation with them were great. It was just, it flowed, And so after they left, my manager at the time looked at me and said, "Those are some bad boys. Do not get wrapped up in that." And I was like, thinking, she's married, like, we're young, like, we're having fun. Like, what do you mean, type of thing. And sure enough, I went on a date with him like a week later. And I did not listen. It's hard for me to be told no in certain situations. Like, sometimes I want to, like, if I have my heart desired on something, I'm going to do it. Yeah. I am. Like, that's just my personality, And
I feel you though.
Yeah.
People tell me no. I'm like, but let me see for myself.
Yeah. And sometimes you just, I need to listen, and I've learned that now, you know, and people do have the best interests for me. And I think a lot of times I didn't think they did because of that trust factor. Someone was trying to tell me no, and I'm like, you're not really looking at like what's the best for me.
Well, with that experience and the growth, you're able to see it a little bit clearer.
Yeah.
Right. Like, there's this, you can almost feel now like, hey, maybe, I need to listen, as opposed to like, no, I'm going to take the risk. Right.
Yeah.
It kind of, it evolves.
Yeah.
You just get better at telling, but you got to go through some tough shit to be able to see that.
I know. Yeah. And right away there was just red flags and I ignored them.
There was someone we know that was in that group of guys.
Yeah. Who was it? Who was it, Joe?
So guys,
it was
she didn't
Joe.
really know where to take. Yeah. So I was one of those guys. I was a friend.
Yes. He was in the cool guys group.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah.
We were trouble.
Yeah. The gym rats.
Yeah. And we were just raising hell everywhere we went. It was fun. Just because you've had me reflecting.
Yeah, for sure.
It was some fun times, some memories for sure. A lot of good memories, a lot of just chaotic memories, but it was an experience, and life's just changed a lot.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like even close to the person I was at that point in my life.
I think that's like where it all is it was fun for the time, but then you have to grow. Yeah. You have to come out of that.
Yeah.
And some people do and some people don't.
I just felt spiraling. Before I went in the military, I was addicted to pills. And then I was in this new place in life where I'm addicted to a totally different way of life, but it was just like women, cocaine, drinking, just like it was that high stem lifestyle. was the opposite, right? But I felt that darkness that I felt when I was younger, just in a different way. I was like, holy shit, like my soul is going in this place that it's been before. And that's what just kind of like pulled me away from that.
For sure.
You know, not to knock the people. It was just the lifestyle for me.
Yeah.
And I just wanted nothing to do with it. I needed to change. And unfortunately, like, you got to kind of break chains with people in your life to change yourself. Like, I had to be selfish with my path forward. And obviously, like, there was a lot of painful lessons moving from that, you know, because I sought that through somebody else. Mm-hmm. And that's not the way to do it either, you know. But it was all a learning lesson, right? But yeah, I was a part of that crew. So it's just funny hearing, you know, we talked about it off camera. It's funny hearing you talk about it. And I'm like, yeah. So is that what people thought of us?
You know, so it was a very like thrilling time, you know, and we
had that instance at the restaurant.
Yeah. Like that was like one of the first dates, and, you know, a knife and a gun were pulled, and I was like, oh my gosh, who am I with? And what is going on? I've never had this happen in my life. It
was a double date.
Yeah. It was, I thought it was all.
I got so offended. I mean, it was kind of a crazy situation. Like,
it was.
Who does that?
In front of a child, you know? Basically, we had a couple guys at the bar that were hitting on Sam and me and like sending letters to us, like little post-it things with like, you know, when you're done with, when you want some real guys, come find us or something.
Yeah.
And you and my ex just darted up from the table and took off. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Followed him outside.
Yes.
Yep.
And the dad pulled the knife.
He turned around and did this at me.
Yeah.
And then the gun came out, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to chill. No one's getting shot or stabbed.
I know.
There's a little girl out there. And, you know, I'll never forget, man, like that. I remember looking at little girls.
Mm-hmm. Like terrified.
Screaming, crying.
Yeah.
And I just, like, that shit hit my soul. I was like, fuck this shit. Yeah. Like, I didn't want this to escalate to this degree. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to be like, yo, show some respect. Honestly. I wasn't trying to freaking, and then it just went.
It went way, yeah. It took off, and it just, it was crazy.
Yeah. and then somebody said, and then everybody showed up like 20 minutes later.
So then like your whole group came to the dinner table, and I think that's when I was like when you're around a group of guys like that, it is like, wow, you feel important. You do.
Yeah.
You feel important, and you feel like, wow, these are like some badass dudes, like, but you know it's bad. You know, like you don't want to be in that group. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, when they all roll up and you guys are all like tatted and, you know, like muscular, and, you know, you're a good looking group of guys, you know, just to say it like that. And yeah, like I just felt like I knew it was not good. You know, I knew like I've never been in this world before. Like this is crazy. This is chaos. But then it's also thrilling.
Yeah.
Like,
100%.
You know, and
I always like the thrill. That's what drew me to like a lot of different things.
Yeah.
You know, with that, it's just like, I don't know, it sucks you in.
Yeah, it does. And it's kind of where like it took off. Like from there, like we were obsessed, me and my ex, like with each other, you know, like it was like the first real, like, I mean, I had real boyfriends, but this was like in my adulthood, you know, like my real boyfriend, you know, and, you know, he was out partying a lot. And like I've said, I've never been a big drinker. I don't really enjoy alcohol. Also, it hurts my stomach like horribly. And so I just don't drink a lot. And I'm always like fine with that. I'm always fine being the DD, or like, I'm never like a Debbie Downer. You know what I mean? Like I can go hang out and I don't need to be drinking, you know? And so I would see things very clear of what was happening. You know, the nights that I had to pick him up, that he was so wasted, you know, downtown. Like, I don't even know like how he would function. Like I would pick him up and literally, you know, he's like a 220-pound dude, and I'd have to like carry him up the stairs, you know, and then everything would be fine. And then all of a sudden, like I started noticing jealousy was like out of control. It was just, he was so overbearing, protective. But again, like you kind of feel like, oh, you're his woman, like you're his girl, like, you know, no one's gonna touch me. No one's going to hurt me, you know?
Yeah.
And then you get that like control again. He has that control over me.
Yeah.
And at the time, like I liked it, but then it got to a point where it wasn't okay anymore, you know?
Over the top.
Way over the top. I mean, you know, we would be fighting and, you know, it got abusive, you know? I mean, yeah. And I would say like on both ends, you know, like mine, I would say is like defending myself, you know, but people can call it what it is. You know, but one time he was so intoxicated, he held his gun straight at me across the room. And I just...
Like, what do you do there?
What do? I just stand there and hope he puts it down.
Yeah.
You know? You know, he would just say some like you knew it was so possessive, you know, like he wanted me to like get pregnant after like 3-4 months of knowing him, you know? And I'm like, dude, no, like this is not, you know, but like I couldn't get away at the same time. It was just like I was so wrapped up in him and everything. And I was like, he was obsessed with me too, you know? So it felt good.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, I just did not like see things what they really were, you know, at the time. And now I look back and I'm like, because people always ask like, well, why didn't you walk away? Like you knew there was red flags at the beginning. And it's like, yeah, I did. But when you're in that relationship where they're so manipulative and like, just so like, they like make you just like also feel really good when they're sending you love bomb text and, you know, I want to have babies with you in the future.
Yeah,
and,
like,
you know,
women,
like
not all of them, but women love to hear that.
Yes.
Like, oh, kid, that's
like, that's
natural.
what our future is, you know? And so I feel like I, again, was in another relationship that like, I just wasn't like, I wasn't me.
Yeah.
We actually got pregnant like before we were married, you know, after a few years.
Yeah.
And
my wife was pregnant 6-7 months into meeting.
Yeah. You know, things happen, you know, but you know, he convinced me, and this is going to be a big shock. No one knows this either, but he convinced me to have a baby with him. And, you know, we stopped birth control and we tried.
Yeah.
And I had a miscarriage. And one of the hardest times too that I went through. And, you know, he blamed me. He told me that I went and got an abortion and I did this to us. You know, when I'm going through one of the hardest times of, you know, a loss, you know, you don't, and also in a lot of pain, you know, and then I just started seeing like, wow, like this is how this is my partner when I'm supposed to be like being, you know, someone's supposed to support me and help me through that time and, you know, go on that loss together, you know, and experience that together. It just
100%.
wasn't that.
Like naturally the male is not going to be as attached
For sure.
in those situations.
100%.
Right? Because you're the one bonding. Like
Yep.
that baby's inside of you.
For
like
sure.
I just, you know what I'm saying? Like,
of course.
but still it's like, but you need to be there for your wife. It's still a loss.
Yeah.
I mean, between the both of you, and you need to be there for your person. Like they're feeling that, like they've already built a connection since, you know, the thing started to grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So that's heavy.
Yeah. And I, you know, and now I truly believe like everything happens for a reason. I do. And I believe like that wasn't my time. And that's not also how I wanted to get pregnant. You know, I don't judge for having babies before marriage or anything like that. But my journey was always get married, you know, have a baby and, you know, just do it that way. And I look back now and I feel like God or, you know, really like everything is like that just wasn't my time.
Yeah.
You know, and I probably I would have held that over me as well. You know, it just wasn't a good situation. And I was also in a very horrible relationship, you know? Yeah. I just feel like for women, sometimes like you picture something of how you should you should do it.
Yeah.
You know, and I knew my family too, like growing up, you know,
that's at the time
that my parents, you know, were high school sweethearts, and, you know, they did it the right way, or the traditional way, you would say.
Yeah.
So that was just something I really felt was important to my family and myself. And so, but at the time I obviously was devastated, you know, and that's kind of what made us jump into getting married. I was feeling that loss.
A trauma bond, like a
trauma bond.
Yeah.
And it's real. It's so real. Like you can't see anything else, but you're like in tunnel vision, you know?
Yeah.
And, yeah, we got married and everything was still the same. Like nothing got better, you know? Now it turned to, we had a baby, you know, after we got married, shortly after, and everything was on me. I did everything. You know, he was still out trying to party. You know, at this point, we're 26, 27 years old, like trying to create a family.
With a baby? Yeah.
I was home with the baby, and he was out till 4 or 5 a.m. still doing his thing. Still, you know, cheating or texting, cheating, you know. I don't know what else was done, or at the time I was in denial of what was happening. I was just so emotional from having a child that, like, you know, I was just trying to survive. I didn't have time to focus on what he was doing. And at the time, I also opened my business, literally 2019. I opened a brand new business.
In the midst of having like a new baby?
A year later, I had a child. So, yeah, it was, or not a year later. Sorry. No, she would have been like months after.
Crazy thing, huh?
I don't know.
Starting a business and marriage and
Basically,
having a baby at the same
chaos.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, trust me, I get that. I did it all this.
It's a little foggy, but, you know,
yeah,
it was a lot to juggle. And so, you know, my attention that was before on him when we were young, 24 years old, where like, you don't have anything to worry about. You just got to wake up and go to work the next day. And like, you have nothing to keep alive, or, you know, you're not like, you just don't have a lot of responsibilities.
Yeah,
you know? Sure. And now we're 26, 27 years old and have a baby, and he's still doing all those things that we did at 24.
Yeah. Out
partying, you know, and then it turns to hitting up other girls, texting other girls, you know, that. And, you know, I hate to say this, but my baby, my infant, probably 8-9 months old, threw up one night in her crib, and I woke up and was like, hey, can you help me? Do you want to do the bath, or do you want to, you know, change out the crib? And he says, I'll do the bath. And I said, okay. Give him to her. And the water's running, and it's running, and I'm flipping the sheets, and it's running. I'm like, why is the bathtub still running? I go in there, he's laying on the ground sleeping, and my infant child is in the bathtub with it running. Like, I knew that point forward, I could never trust this person again. Like, my child could have fallen over, drowned. I mean, literal goosebumps on my arms, because it's Jesus. Like, I can't believe ever letting something else be important than my child. And it was because he was out the night before.
You know, I don't know. I just couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
I don't know. I had a family, and I just, like, everything else
doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
I know. And I'm not saying you can have a boys' night every once in a while. You can, you know, but it's different. You don't go out and get plastered knowing you have an infant that you have to take care of next day. Even
then, like, I don't do things for myself. I get to go with my guys for ritual like 3 times a year in the middle of the woods, like off in, you know, Mississippi or Alabama, wherever we're at, right? That's my only time cutting loose. And even then, like, I'm like, you know, worst case, I'm going to pass out in a hammock. We're in the middle of nowhere, in a hammock or in my car, like, you know, just with my brothers. We're not showering for a couple days. But that's a spiritual thing too. Even then, like, just don't, outside of that, because that is a spiritual bond. Like those are, I mean, we got an oath together. Outside of that, like, I don't want to have boys' nights.
Yeah.
I don't really care about that. Like, there's no need to go, like, do something all day. It's like, I don't know, I want to spend time with my family, man.
Yeah.
You know, I want to be present always. Mm-hmm. I don't need a break from my family.
Yeah.
I just don't believe in that.
Yeah. He would say all the time, like, we have the kids all the time. Like, it's like we just had them all day. And I'm like, what do you mean we just had them? We're going to have them the rest of their lives. Like, I don't need to pawn them off. And I'm sorry, but I'm not, I was protective of my child. I think every woman should be. I'm not going to, when my mom would come in town, I would let her watch my child because I knew her parenting skills, like she
trusted her.
I trust her with anything. I mean, I trust her. Like, she was in the delivery room with me, like she was the only person that I trusted to watch my child. I did, because I didn't trust a lot of people. And also she was a brand new baby, like and he would make me feel so bad about that. And like, he would literally make me feel like, because I loved my child more than him, like it was, which I know in the Bible, it always says spouse, all that, like you're supposed to, but really in reality, like you hope that your spouse can go and swim in a stream, like, and survive themselves, and you're going to grab the infant first. Yeah. I mean, that's just how it's going to go.
Yeah. My perspective is like, my wife and I, it's like, we always remind each other. I tell her, I'm like, you're number one.
Yes.
Because my daughter wouldn't be here. Our daughter wouldn't be here for you. But like, if we're her main influence, right? Like, if we don't prioritize each other, that doesn't do her any 100%. Good, right? So but yeah, like if like we're both, I don't know, we're all three floating in a river, like I'm going to help my daughter because she's 2.5,
Yes.
And then I'm going to work my way to my wife. I mean, I guess in that scenario, but you know what I'm saying?
It's just like an unwritten rule that like you are going to pick your child. Yeah. Like, I'm sorry. If my infant,
they need
you. And at these crucial moments of our lives, they're not going to need us all the time. They're not going to need us, when they're 15 years old and they can make a sandwich themselves and all this stuff. They can't do that when they're young.
Shit. And honestly, like, I'm sorry, you got me going on this rant, but like, I'm going to miss doing shit for my daughter. Yeah. If she tells me to, she wants to walk somewhere, I'm like, but can I hold you? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, fuck. I mean, as time goes on, I'm going to need to carry her less. Yeah. And I'm going to miss that shit. Yeah. Like, you don't get that fucking back.
You don't.
Yeah. It gets me emotional because, like, I think about that stuff and I just can't put myself in the shoes of anybody that could, like, put that on the back burner.
I know. And you just feel so like sad, you just feel sad that like you don't have this partner to experience this amazing like connection with your child. Yeah. You don't have like you both laying down on the ground and like just loving your baby and talking to each other. Like, that just wasn't my experience at all. And it's sad. Like, that's not what I envisioned for myself. Yeah, and I got like, not that I got trapped. I knew what was happening, but I was in so deep. And, he had a child and I saw how he treated that child and I should have known, but then I got involved with the stepchild. And, you get in so far that you don't even, I
didn't know there was a stepchild.
Yeah. No. Yeah. That I was a step parent for, and I love her to this day still. Like, she's my own, she can call me anytime, text me anytime, and, but you get in so deep that you can't pull yourself out. And and that's what happened. And, things were bad, they weren't good. They were bad. They were just day by day, but I was so invested in my business at the time that it was so much work to like fight with him.
Yeah. You almost kind of just turn it off.
Yeah. I became numb.
Because your business ain't going to go nowhere if you're like focused. Yeah.
And then I got, told that, I work too much or I'm on my phone too much when I'm working. I'm the owner of the company, and like growing this from the ground up. Like, trying to explain like you did, like, hey, our future, this is what, in 5 years, I won't have to do this, or in 6 years, like, there is an end goal. This isn't going to be like this all the time,
Yeah.
like there will be a day where, we do good and we can enjoy the things that we have, and we don't have to be on our phones 24/7. But when I'm growing a business and I'm trying to hustle, like, I need that support. And it wasn't like my mom would come down and stay for months to help me with our child because he just was not capable. And after that moment in the bathtub, I knew I could never, ever trust him again.
Yeah.
What
was your parents' perspective?
My parents never enjoyed him.
Really?
Yeah. From the day they met, it was just, they could see past his bullshit. They could see that, he was not a good person for me. Yeah. And again, I didn't listen. I just was like, you don't know him, but I've kind of realized I'm a people fixer. I try and fix people.
Yeah.
And I always want the best for people, and I want to help them. And I felt sad for him. I felt sad that he grew up without a dad, and that he was going, that he needed me to help him be a better person. And that's what it kind of turned into.
I think a lot of women think that for men. See damaged guy, because a lot of men don't talk about their shit. It's becoming more of a thing. Mm-hmm. And it's like, we get a lot of people come on here and do that, but like men talking. Yeah. And it does something to them, and it's sad. So that's like a big push, especially through my platform and multiple others, is for men to start speaking, because that's how you start to heal. Yeah. But we just bottle shit in, and that damages everything. But then you get a lot of women want to go say that they want to like fix him, and it's a tricky thing.
It is. Because I think for a while you can try and help someone. Some people do need, like, everyone says, oh, they bettered me or made me a better person. I truly believe in that. Like, you can help someone with their journey, but it's like, it has to still be a healthy relationship. You know, when I'm getting called a fat bitch, when I'm 8 months pregnant with his child, that's not a healthy relationship, or when I'm, called just horrible names, or having him, I found out after, already having a child with him, that he confessed to cheating on me after a month of being with me. But I couldn't do anything. I was stuck. I was already a year into the relationship. What was I going to do? Like, that was and I'm sure now I look back and I'm like, okay, that was one time. I'm sure there was so many times that I didn't know about, but it was just,
it's not worth finding out.
No, it was just like, okay, we have a new leaf now. We have a baby. Let's try and start over. And it just was not, there was nothing that was like changing him or just making him, realize like his priorities have to be different now. And they never were.
So what would you say was the breaking point for you to like, be like, all right, this isn't going to continue?
Yeah. So we had our second child. I wanted another baby so bad, and I did not want a different father, to be honest. At the time I was just like, I just want to have another child. Like, they're my priority. I loved having my daughter, and I wanted another young child, where they could grow up kind of how me and my brother did, very close in age. And I was just in denial that another baby's not going to fix things. They don't. If people think they do not fix broken things. Yeah. And we brought our son into the world, and that is when things just hit the wall.
Really?
Completely. He was so checked out. He was so into other women, cheating. What really kind of blew everything up, my son was maybe 6 months old, 7 months. I mean, he was a baby, or probably, no, not even that old. Sorry, 4 months old. Couldn't even sit up yet. I mean, he was an infant. And I was on a trip. My best friend from college was having a baby. So I flew down to Texas and was going to her baby shower. And again, I didn't trust my husband with our children. So my mom came down and watched our children while he like continued working, and, you know, great help. Like it would be great help for that, you know, for any person to do that, as long as the husband's like still involved. Yeah. Well, he wasn't. He went out. And he actually full on cheated on me on the lake with a girl. And when I returned home, I got a message from the girl letting me know that she slept with my husband and she didn't know that he was married. So I was done. I was completely done. My mom was still there. Like, I was done. And I, you know, he actually respected like my boundaries at first. Like at first I let him, like, this is done. He moved, like went and stayed with a friend, you know, and was so apologetic. At first he tried to deny it. I was like, we're not denying this. This is like, she has your full name, you know, like, yeah. So I actually went back to Wisconsin with my mom for like a few weeks and just needed to take like really a step back. Yeah. Because like literally that happened, and me and my mom, like the next day I was like, we need to go like find an attorney. Like, I need to find an attorney. And I was like fired up, you know, I was done and everything. And we were on the drive there, and I'll never forget this. Like, my mom looked at me and she shared some like family stuff with me that I never knew, that, you know, close relative of ours, that someone I looked really like up to, you know, they had an affair in their family. And it was a very hard time, and they got over it. Not over it, but they moved through it and worked together. And my mom telling me that honestly was like, okay. Again, she didn't know all of really like the abusive stuff that was happening, and like that verbal abuse and like all of that. I hid a lot of that from everyone. You know, no one really knew like how verbally abusive he was, and like the texting other girls and things like that. I just didn't share that. So this like cheating was like, you know, to my mom was like the first thing, you know? And so she was going at it like more like, you know, maybe he made a mistake. But my mom was still like, I support you no matter what. But I had 2 children involved at the time, you know? So her sharing that with me on the way, you know, to the attorney's office, I just really like in that moment was like, okay, I don't think I'm going to divorce him. Like, I think I'm going to stay. If they can do it, like, I can do it. And I'm not going to fail. I'm going to try everything I can to save this marriage. I want my family to be together. You know, to this day, like, I'm the only divorced person in my family lineage. Like, no one is divorced. To me, that was something that I was never going to do. I was just never going to get a divorce. You know, like, I was going to stay in it for the long haul, you know, no matter what it took. Yeah. And so I went home to Wisconsin, and during that time, he just freaked out, telling me that I'm cheating, that I'm, you know, where they flip it, narcissistic behavior, you know, where now he's the victim and I'm the person that's ruining our marriage, and I'm the one that's running away. And what about our vows? I was like, what about our vows when you were having sex with another woman? Yeah. What about our vows then? Yeah. While my mother is taking care of our 4-month-old infant boy and our like 1.5-year-old daughter. What about our vows then? You know? And he could never take accountability, ever. It was always turned around on me. And it was manipulative, you know? And I, again, at the time, I knew it. I knew it was so unhealthy, but it was just like, what do I do? Yeah. I have no more energy. Like, I truly have no more energy to give, because I'm literally running my business and I'm taking care of 2 like very young children by myself.
You're exhausted.
I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
I was literally getting foggy. You know, I would literally I was like having out of body experiences, and I would like tell my business partner about it, and she'd be like, it's stress. You're literally so stressed that like it was almost like I was going to pass out, but I wouldn't.
Yeah.
And I would have that all the time throughout the day. I like went to the doctor. I found out I had high blood pressure at age 30 years old. High blood pressure. I'm like,
probably not. I assume it's not been like a family thing. Like you just happen to stress, did it? I'm telling you. Yeah. We talked about that before.
Stress.
We're on the same medication.
I was having like such stressful moments. I was stressed all the time. And so I got back from Wisconsin, got back home, and my friends were over. They haven't seen me, or whatnot. And to be honest, I didn't enjoy spending time with my husband. I didn't. Like, who would enjoy someone calling them names all the time, texting other girls, finding them, online cheating pretty much, or just everything like finances, spending our money on sports betting, and just while I'm trying to build this business up and save money for our future, who would want to spend time with their husband at the time? I did not. And I will be honest, I probably for the last year of that marriage was mentally not in it. I wasn't. I was giving more to my business, my friends, my kids than him, and rightfully so, I would say.
Yeah.
100%. And he could not step back. He couldn't. He had to always be number one priority, During this time, I think I shared with you, the only coping thing I would do is I would literally write. Like I tell, my best friend, I was like, yeah, I'm writing a book, but it's never going to be done. It's literally just my thoughts and my emotions and my energy into literally just writing whatever comes to mind.
Yeah. It's a healthy thing.
Yeah. And that's honestly what I did. I just would sit down, whenever at my computer and the time that I had, and I would just write.
Yeah.
And I'm not a good writer. It's just like, it was just a good therapy for me.
Sure.
I knew I couldn't add a therapist in. I did not have time, even though I know that's making excuses. Everyone can make time. But for me, I just could not add that on my plate. I couldn't. And
it was another appointment to get to.
Yeah.
You don't need any more appointments.
I was thin.
Yeah.
I was running thin, and so I came back and I was talking with my friends, and we're sitting in the kitchen, and my husband is upstairs at the time, and my friend says, hey, you really need to have like one of those things on your phone, just to keep evidence of just everything that you have. Make sure it's locked. Like one of those folders, of like all the stuff, because I was coming back, and again, he just cheated on me like 3 weeks ago, and so she was just telling me like, hey, just keep it, whatever you're deciding, just keep that and keep it locked and just have that. And he comes downstairs, and he put a recording device in my kitchen when I was gone. It was recording me and my friends talking. So he came downstairs, and I went upstairs for a reason, and all of a sudden I hear him, like, it's getting loud down there. I'm like, what is happening? And I have 2 kids upstairs sleeping, a baby, an infant, and like a toddler. And I run downstairs, and he is in my friend's face, like this close to her face, screaming at her. Like, who the fuck do you think you are, coming to my house, telling my wife to have a security thing on her phone? Like, ballistic. I've never seen him like this. Maybe a few times when we were younger, and at this time he was on some really like strong steroids, and that was a big issue in our relationship. He got off them when we first had kids. I told him, I'm not like, this past life of yours of being on steroids and all that, we're not doing this having kids. Yeah. So I thought he was off, but he wasn't. And it was like seeing like, his face, I can't get out of my mind. Like he wasn't even there. It was just like a flip, switched. I ended up calling the cops, and they sent like 6 squad cars over to my house in the middle of this is like midnight at this time. And, he has a gun, has a gun, a conceal and carry. And, he was throwing things in the garage, breaking our kids' toys, all of this stuff. And the police show up. And the first time I think I experienced like this situation, besides when I was, 15 in the back of a cop car, but they literally, like, he was ballistic, like trying to fight the police or like verbally, insulting them and being hysterical. And they came in and were like, sorry, we can't make him leave. This is his house too. Did he physically hit you? I was like, no, he didn't physically hit me this time. And basically told me to pack my bags and I had to take my children somewhere. Kick the woman out of the house.
Wild.
Unbelievable. My friends gathered, like literally threw stuff in a suitcase, and he was going ballistic.
Did the cops at least stay for that?
They did, and watched me walk out.
Did something.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
I'm like, you don't see how irate he is, telling like you guys he's gonna like fight you, and what do you think he's gonna do to me when you guys leave? What do you think's gonna happen?
Great. He
was so in a mental state that like because he messed up, he could not get over that. Like he wanted me to suffer. You know what I mean? He wanted me to blame for cheating or doing things. I mean, it was just crazy,
Yeah.
And so literally I got my infant out of the crib, my daughter. I mean, there is 6 squad cars, sirens, or like the red, white, everything in my neighborhood, the most embarrassing, and at this time I'm a business owner. People know me, like I own a business in Mount Juliet. And I left and I drove my children an hour away and I stayed with my friend. My kids slept on the floor. I didn't sleep at all. My phone starts blowing up with him. Call after call after call. Telling me if I don't come back, he's going to fucking kill me. Like, I'm going to find you. I turned off my phone completely. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm just pacing the house all night long. Like, is he going to show up? What is he going to do? Calling me. And it's like probably 4 a.m. at this point. And he called me and I was like, you know what? I'm going to answer one time. Like by this time it was like 58 calls. No, like one after another. And I finally answer. And he's like, I hope you know, I have a life insurance policy and I'm going to fucking kill myself. And this is because of you. I hope you have a good life, and hung up the phone. And in my heart, just like everything was like, this is not a joke. This is not a fucking joke. Before, he would say some crazy shit that maybe I didn't believe, or, I knew he was just trying to like get me back, but this was different. It was just so different. So I called his friend at this like 3 a.m. and I'm calling his friend. I'm like, you need to go to my house right now. Like, I'm not joking. Go to my house right now. Something is not right. And he's like, Mackenzie, it's fine. Like, we've seen, he's just, on some steroids right now. He's just being emotional. Like, just leave him. I'm like, this is serious. You need to go to his house, like my house now. I mean, I was begging him, like, go there. I don't care. I'll give you gas money. I don't care. You need to go to my house. And he got there and he was trying to hang himself in our garage and had his gun sitting right next to him and a whole bottle of alcohol completely gone, like of whiskey, a whole handle completely gone. And his aunt showed up. They took him to the hospital. He was irate. He acted like they literally stripped him with nothing but like paper clothes on his body. He was like, it was horrible. It was honestly like, I like black out at moments, like, because I can't even like describe what it was like being in, like, seeing my husband in that state of mind. Yeah. It was just crazy. So like for that entire, like, he was at the hospital and like begging me, like, please come pick me up. Like, please come pick me up. Like, I will do anything if you pick me up. I mean, imagine like someone that like you do love them, even though you know they're horrible for you. Like someone that is stripped of everything, like literally down to like, he looked like a prisoner, literally in like a cell because he was suicidal. And he was also so intoxicated, like blew like a 0.4 there. So intoxicated. He was not compliant. I mean, like, it was horrible. And then on top of this, like, another drunk guy came in and got in a fight with my husband and punched him in the face and knocked out his tooth in the emergency room at the hospital. All this happened within like 48 hours. It was literally like, how is this happening to me? Like, what? Like, I couldn't call my parents. I could not tell them about this. I couldn't tell anyone about this besides my 2 friends that were with me at the time when this happened. Like, no one could know about this, about my life. Like, this, I felt embarrassed. I felt like so, I mean, like, just, again, I was in the same situation as the back of the police car, and all I wanted to do was be with my husband and save him.
Like you couldn't break yourself from that thought.
I couldn't. So I literally, like, you know, called everyone for my kids. Like, you know, like they would go to daycare, and literally I was like dealing with this from, you know, 7 a.m. until I had 7 to 4 to figure out like what's happening, you know, or like to deal with myself. And during that time, like, you know, I thought, okay, should I run and take my kids to Wisconsin? Like, you know, I packed all the bags and we were going to go. And I couldn't go. I couldn't. He like needed me. And I felt like I was the only person like that would help him. And so I went to the hospital and visited him. And he got admitted to like a mental hospital. And I've never experienced like a panic attack the way I experienced one after seeing him in like that hospital bed, you know, no tooth, like stripped of everything. He wasn't even like a human anymore. They were treating him like he was, which he deserved it. Like he was, you know, I mean, he was a horrible person in there, but he was intoxicated at the time. You know, all these horrible things were happening. But I felt so sad. I was just so sad. And I got in my vehicle, and my friend literally sat in my car for 3 hours while I was in that hospital room with him, just sat in there waiting for me. Like, I'm not leaving your side, Mackenzie. I'm going to be here with you the entire time. No matter what you choose, I will go with you to Wisconsin. We will go pick up your kids from school. We'll go to Wisconsin. I will drive the entire way, 13 hours. Or I will come with you to pick up your kids. We'll go back home and we'll figure out what we got to do.
Yeah.
And I got in the car and I couldn't even breathe. I thought like I was going to literally die because I had no air in my lungs. Like I was crying. I mean, like the scream cry, like, you know, like something terrifying has happened to you. That's literally what I felt.
So would you say, you know, you think that feeling's from like seeing him or just all of it? Like all of him, seeing him in that state, but also like, shit, there's like, I have kids and a business and this is my life right now. Like,
and I just wanted it to go to normal.
Yeah, it was just like, I mean, probably just insanely overwhelming.
Yeah, it was so overwhelming. I couldn't even handle, like I could not handle it. I could not handle the feelings that I was feeling, you know, because like, again, I've always resulted, you know, over the years of just like being strong. You know, I didn't tell my mom and dad about our relationship. I painted the picture that it was, you know, we had our times. He wasn't a good person. My parents could see that, but I wouldn't like go gossip about him. You know, I was really trying to like make this marriage work and just like also cover up. Like I was always trying to cover up things he did. Always, you know, like always. I mean, my mom received a message from someone's mother that, hey, did you know, so-and-so, you know, your daughter's boyfriend, like threw a rock through her window. And my mom reached out, what happened? I was like, what are you talking about? That never happened, Mom. A rock hit my window. Like, come on. Like, he didn't throw a rock through my window. He did throw a rock through my window when we were in a fight once. So it's like, I hid things a lot. And like this, like, how do I hide this? How do I hide this?
Like you can't.
There's no hiding anymore.
The more you hide, the more painful and just the more painful it gets for you.
Yeah.
You can only, I don't know.
I know.
You can only hold that up so long before you spiral.
Yeah. And so, you know, after, you know, kind of all this happened and he was, you know, just being like crazy, you know, and telling me he was going to kill me and like one moment and then begging for me to come back and pick him up and sign him out of the hospital. Like it was just like his mental, like it just was, he was not mentally there.
Yeah.
He was so up and down. 1 minute literally telling me he was going to like kill me, you know, and the next telling me, you know, I love you, please come back, like get me out of here, you know. And again, like when I say that out loud, it literally is the same thing I dealt with when I was 15 years old. Please let me in. Come on, please. I won't do it again to you. I won't do it. And coming in and just beating the shit out of me.
Did you have a moment that did you recognize that?
Not at the time.
You weren't ever like, damn, this reminds me of then.
No, not at the time. And so, not at the time. I could not recognize it. I could not see like what it was. I was so in, you know, just trying to make everything like back normal. I stayed with him. I picked him up from the mental institution with my 2 children, their dad. And I tried to stay with him. I tried to give everything I could. And I just, nothing changed, you know, maybe right after that happened for a month or 2 or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
You had that little spurt of
where everything seems perfect and, oh, you know, things are changing or, you know, but it always goes back.
Yeah.
You know, if someone's really not going to change, you find out, you know? And so, like we were at the house one day and, you know, fighting, arguing, and he looks at me and he tells me, like, you ever find someone else, I'm going to fucking kill you. And I will kill them as well. Like, I will kill you in front of our children. I hope you know. And again, like, cause it was up or down. Like he was just so not stable. Like he just wasn't, you know, he was prescribed medication to help, you know, and all this stuff. He wouldn't take it. Yeah. He wasn't being accountable for his actions. He took it for maybe a few months to help, you know, but he wouldn't go to get therapy. He wouldn't go help himself. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't doing anything to get better, even though he promised that he would during that time. And so we got into another really bad fight. And it was, and he would just threaten me all the time, you know? And I finally one day was just like, I was literally at an appointment. I was sitting there and I was like, you know what? If someone actually said something about my husband, like, hey, I heard this about him. And I'm like, I am so sick and tired of hearing about my husband. Like, I am so sick and tired of like being the person out of, you know, like, I don't know what's going on, you know, like, hey, he was at the lake and hit it on this girl, or hey, you know, like I don't want to be that wife anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
that sucks.
yeah, I'm like, and then like, that feeling in your gut where
You want to hear positive things.
Yeah. It just hurts so bad. Like you just are like, oh, it's like, oh my God, did he cheat on me again? Like, why do I want to live like that all the time? I don't. And so I literally left that appointment and I drove to an attorney's office and I filed. And I did it. I didn't care. I put down the retainer fee. I did not care. Like nothing in my brain was telling me to go back. Like I'm so sick and tired of hearing, like I am the wife I'm embarrassed. I am done. Like I am done with this. And I filed. And that set off a fire. And just like it brought me back to the time with the police, again. But this time it was a tracking device in my car. It was threatening me and my children, like, hey, you better not leave the kids with me. I don't know what's going to happen to them. Like conversations like that just to hurt me. And, at the time, obviously my parents did know what was kind of happening. I'd shared it with my mom, of course. And she would tell me, like, Mackenzie, this is for real. This is how people go missing. This is how, domestic violence happens. People get shot or killed or kids go missing. Again, that won't happen. Like, Mom, I'm fine. I got this. I'm in control. Like, I know, like, I'm fine. And, it started where he just was threatening me and I took the kids and I went and stayed in a hotel and he could not find me for days. I mean, my kids, I had to buy like Lunchables at the gas station the next morning to like take to school.
Yeah. I
was like a mess. I looked like I got hit by like a truck. My eyes were so puffy from crying and the stress and like, I just like could not go home. Like I just could not go home. And I just decided like my kids, like I'm taking them. I went and stayed at my friend's apartment. She let me sleep in her bed while she stayed on the couch for a week, and he couldn't find us, and my attorney's like, you can't do that. Like, this is how messed up the justice system is. I went to go get a restraining order after he literally or a protection order. And I roll in because my attorney told me to go get one just because of all these threats that were happening to me, and I went to go get a protection order and this 60-year-old man comes out. What can I help you with? And I'm like, I'm here because my attorney told me to come here, last night, or, I've been getting threatening messages, all this. I go back to his office and he's like, so you were like scared for your life, but you didn't come in like last night? I said, sir, I'm a single mom. I have no family here and I have 2 children. I had to wait until I could come in here. And I called my attorney first thing in the morning. Like I knew I was going to do it. I just couldn't do it that night.
Yeah.
So he like bullshitted me, made me feel like, oh, I'm just another woman trying to put a man behind bars.
And it sucks because you on one token, there is a lot of that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I know.
But at the same time, like there's honest people.
For sure.
It fucking sucks. But like,
I couldn't, I was, I finally, like, I was speechless. He wouldn't sign a protection of order.
And like, you weren't trying to throw him behind bars.
No.
You're just trying to get like,
I just want
some safety.
Yes. That's all I wanted. These threats were becoming more serious. They were, they were horrible. I mean, it was just tracking my vehicle where I was. I mean, it was horrible. I couldn't live in this fear, like, is he going to barge through the door and shoot me? Like, I never thought that would be me, like those stories, the articles, the things that you see online, like, you're like, it's not me, or I'm not in that situation, but yeah. I felt like I finally was able to kind of see like, this is not good. And so I went and got help, trying to get help. And I remember leaving that office and I called my attorney. I said, he has not given me a protection order. Like, he won't even talk to me. He's in here asking like why I'm even in here. And like, you know, I didn't feel safe last night. So why didn't I come last night? Like, you know, really dismissing me.
Yeah.
And honestly degrading me. My attorney was just like, this is unbelievable.
Yeah.
This is not okay.
Yeah.
So he, you know, has some good connections and he called the judge and got one emergency signed for me.
Cool.
Yeah. And, but you know, I was pushing, like, I just think of like, how many other women does he do that to?
Yeah.
You know, like he's supposed to be there to like help, you know, not every person is going in there like falsely saying something or, you know, or that you've never seen me before. This isn't like the 5th time I've been in here asking for this. And I can't, you know, like no matter what, you're supposed to be protecting the people that are, you know, that like you're in charge of this.
Yeah. It's honestly just, it's not just to assume that somebody's, you know, doing the wrong thing.
Yeah. And so I got that. And, you know, he got served with papers, which set off like, you know, a whole other thing too. It just kept getting worse and worse and worse. You know,
but this is when the papers, I will say, you know, it gets worse before it gets better.
I know.
So you're kind of coming.
Yeah. It's like just, I had to go through like, I feel like you kind of have to hit rock bottom, you know, to really just realize like, okay, I got to keep fighting. we're going to get out of this hole, you know, and that's where I was at. From there, like, you know, like every once in a while I'd be like, should I just like go back? Like, should I just go back? And I'm like, no, I'm not. I am not going back. I am not, you know, because again, it was every other day. One day, like begging for me back. The next day, like talking horribly to me and calling me names and all this stuff, you know? So it was just a whirlwind of emotions, you know? And I like one morning woke up and, you know, I checked my business account and there was $6,000 missing on sports betting. And I literally was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Like, I have a business partner, you know, like that's her money as well. Like, we're a small business. We don't have the money to just, $6,000, you know, no big deal.
Won't even notice it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be nice, but.
And I'll never forget, I called my dad. I just dropped my kids off at school. I was so like beaten down. I was just like, you know, and my dad is on the phone. And this is like the first time I've really like kind of like, I was like, Dad, like, you'll never believe what happened. Like, what am I supposed to do? I mean, I was just like hysterical, you know, and he was so hard on me. Like, Mackenzie, like, you're going to get your shit together and you're going like, this is enough. Like, this is enough. Go close your accounts, go switch this, go do this. And the whole time my attorney is saying like, you can't do this. You can't do this. You gotta keep everything together for now. But he wasn't. He was draining my accounts. He was taking the money.
Yeah.
And my attorney wanted me to just sit here and be like, well, it'll work out in the end. You'll get that money back. I'm like, I don't have $6,000 just to give. What are you talking about? Yeah. And my dad was like, this is done. I need you to go do this, this, and this. And I remember like I was full on.
You listen to Dad?
Oh, I was hysterical in the car and I got my shit. I mean, I don't know how I didn't crash my vehicle. Like, honest to God, like I was so emotional and I was crying. I was literally like panic attack, you know, like what am I going to do? How am I going to get this money back? And I was like, you know what? I am like, this is done. So I went and I shut off all the cards. I switched everything over. It took me all day long. To this day, there's a man at Regions that helped me when I was in this situation. I mean, I went in there. I can't even tell you what I looked like. Like, I was just shoveled with, I mean, I had sweatpants on, my eyes I'm crying. I like have nothing with me. And he helped me. And he still works there to this day. Yeah. And he literally like saved me that day. Yeah. He sat me down and was like, it's okay. I didn't even have $25 to my name to open an account because literally he drained our accounts.
One, your dad's got me amped up. Like hearing that,
Yeah.
like it was hard on you, but it was fucking what you needed.
I needed. And I took that entire day before I picked up my kids and
Yeah.
I shut everything off. And I didn't care what my attorney said at that point in time. My dad was like, you know what? What's going to happen next?
Yeah, it's like,
You know?
all that legal and do this.
Yeah.
Like that's all fucking great, the formalities.
Yeah.
But like you got to play hardball. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
your dad fucking, hey, get in there. Like
Yeah.
it goes back to your sports background, that intensity. It's like, nah, man, fuck this. Like we got to switch gears.
Yeah.
And you did.
I did.
I don't know. It's got me fired up because that's what's necessary sometimes.
Yeah.
Screw all like the easy going formal shit.
Yeah, I was done.
Yeah,
I
you got
was
to be
just-
cutthroat. Like, but no.
Yeah, and my close circle, they know. Like, when I'm done, I am done.
Yeah.
Like, there's no going back. I am done. And from that, like, I was like, I am divorcing him. What do we need to do to get this done? Like, I am done. And I am, like, there's no holding back at this point in time. Like, you're going to mess with my business, something that I've literally, me and my business partner worked, like, from the ground up. I mean, blood, sweat, and tears, you know? Like, now you got a whole other thing. You know, you're going to mess with me, my children, my business. Like, I am done with it, you know? And, you know, the easier thing to do is run back. That's always the easiest thing to do sometimes, you know?
But then it all hits you.
Exactly.
Like that, what it was affecting, you know? And I can't relate to your situation at all, but the people that I had involved with my business that were in it, like straight up, they're dead to me, you know? Because of the similar things as far as what the expectation all being put on me. And like, dude, that affects my family too.
Yeah.
Now I got to take ownership. I allowed it. I set up a certain expectation through my actions unknowingly, but also like, nah, dude, like fucking done for good.
Yeah.
And that's just how you got to be.
Yeah.
And it's good that you found that you reached that point. You know, it takes a while to get to that point for people like us.
For sure.
So I feel you there in a certain way.
Yeah. And, you know, we went to court twice. Again, the justice system, I feel like failed me, you know, like I had all the evidence of all this behavior, screenshots, text messages. I mean, I came prepared. Me and my attorney, like we came prepared, you know, and again, like I had to sit up on the stand and let his attorney like interrogate me. And it was the most belittling thing I've ever experienced. Like one of the most like it was horrible. Like
Really?
Trying to make me out to like, oh, you don't trust your husband? Then why did you let him take the kids here and here? And I'm like, because I have to. What do you mean? Like, you guys are telling me that I have to allow him to like, I'm not trying to take my children from him. Like, this is nothing. I'm not trying to like, you know, never let him see the kids. I'm just trying to make sure my children are safe, you know? And like, yeah, they gave me primary custody, you know, and, but he still, you know, gets them every Thursday and every other weekend, you know, and after all of his behaviors, you know, and at first this was very hard for me to give my children, like knowing like, you know, and at first it was supervised. Like, and I allowed his family to be there, someone else to be there. It wasn't like by like a director or anything like that.
Yeah.
And we had to build up. So like 6 months of that. And then it was, you know, but sometimes he wouldn't even get the kids because he was just out doing whatever he wanted to do, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to be the good parent. I'm trying to like, you know, have the mom and dad both involved in my kids' lives. But like at the same time, if he's that unstable, why are we giving him like rights to our children? Like what is this?
Yeah.
You know, like what does it take?
Yeah.
I mean, truly I got from the attorney, not my, like pretty much the attorneys there and the judge, that if something didn't happen, like, well, your child didn't drown. Well, yeah, because I was there to stop it.
Yeah.
You know, or, oh, well, he didn't actually kill you. Well, okay, because I went and got an order of protection. Like, does something have to happen that horrible for you guys to like?
Do I have to die for this to be like a thing?
That's literally what I felt. And I'm like, this is horrible. Like, this is horrible for women or people in this situation where you are in such a horrible, abusive relationship. And, you feel like, hey, I can be protected by, certain things. And when those fail on you and you feel like, I just have to hope and pray nothing happens every time I give my children to him. Like
what's the point?
I literally at times, I had a friend that would just follow him around because he would take my kids to dinner and they would just go sit in the parking lot because I was so afraid, and I just wanted to make sure they were okay, and, it was horrible. It was a horrible divorce. I mean, I was the breadwinner of the family, so I had to pay him all this money. And I'm totally for like when you build something up together, like, you and your spouse, when you build a business up together and you're supporting each other and you're there for each other, of course, let's split it. Let's split and be fair. But when I'm out there hustling every day and taking care of the kids every day while he's over here opening accounts, taking out money, spending it on this or that or sports betting, sorry. But like that, to me, why should I have to pay you?
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? Like, what? But that's what it is. That's what it is. That's what it is in the state of Tennessee. And it just sucks. It sucked. It truly, he financially like made me in a hole. I had to restart everything again, and it was horrible to see, like, I had to pay off a boat and give it to him. Oh, here's like a Christmas present for cheating on me and all the horrible things. But here you go with a brand new boat. And then to see other girls on that boat, while we're going through our divorce, biggest slap in the face,
Jesus Christ. I do got a quick interjection. What's up with like lake culture?
I don't know.
I would never get a boat just because the culture around it. Not knocking everybody with a boat, but I'm just like, dude, I used to love the lake, like a pontoon going out there, like going in the cove with you and your friends and just like my family, we'll do that we'll rent one. Yeah.
Like that's my vibe. I grew up on, the Mississippi River.
There's only like one speaker playing
music. And it's family oriented. And no, not anymore. Like, it's a party scene and I guess a cheating fest. I mean, I have no idea. Yeah. But it's just, it's, so I again was just sitting and just like doing everything I could to take care of my kids, protect them, make sure that they don't know what's going on between me and their father, Yeah.
And how do they not see these things, right?
I know. And, people told me like your kids are young, like it's hard, but hopefully they won't remember a lot of this stuff, when they're that young. And I just tried everything to have like be normal. I tried to keep the routine, I tried everything I could. And, the divorce took close to a year to be finalized and it was hell the entire time.
When did it finalize?
So last year, like early February of 2024,
okay.
It finalized and, he was already, he was actually like dating someone pretty seriously, and everything like that. So, I mean, he moved on once it was like done, like, well, he was still seeing people obviously when we were going through the divorce. That was, a thing. But he jumped right into another relationship because that's literally what he does. And I didn't see it until now. I'm like able to see the whole picture. Like I was just the same as like his other mother of his child, like I was the second person that this happened to, and now there's a third. And I, when we were starting together, I didn't know he was still seeing the mother of his child. I didn't find that out until like after we got divorced, like I found out all this information.
Have you and her spoken?
Yeah, we're very close. We're very close and we have a good relationship. And, over the like when I was going through that divorce and everything
obviously,
like that.
because you're involved with his daughter too, their daughter. So yeah.
And it was just like, wow, this is like a pattern, but not even like this is like, you could literally read a book, like all these chapters, and they would literally be all the same, but just a different woman's name.
It's like, you're like, and you wonder how do people get away with these things, you know,
Yeah.
but it's like, damn, you see this person getting these opportunities
And just living their life.
but then you got to step
Yeah.
back and be like, time will take care of things.
You know, I've thought that, you know, but now he's in another marriage, another child. And, you know, I hope he's not, between me and you, I don't think like the abuse and all, I think that was just like alcohol, steroids and all of that. Like still a horrible person. I mean, that does not make any excuse, but I don't know if that, like, I don't know, again, because no one would know behind closed doors that this was happening to me as well. So I don't know what their relationship is like. But again, like, I will say the one thing that really affects me is like, you know, I'm involved with, I still have to be around him. I have to be around him, you know, and people probably look at us like, oh my gosh, like, this is the weirdest dynamic I've ever seen, you know, but like he comes over for the kids, like birthday parties, you know, if they're at my house, him and his new wife, and then his other, you know, the other child and the other mom, you know, his other ex. And it's like, we're all at my house, like a big happy family, you know, and like sometimes I get, you know, it hurts because none of them understand the trauma that what he did to me. Like, it's not, this isn't funny. Why are we treating him like he's just such a great person? I'm not going to start issues with him in front of my kids at their party, but I'm not going to sit here and talk to you like you're my best friend.
Yeah.
I'm not. There's a line here. What you have done to me is stolen a part of me that I don't know if I can ever get back.
Yeah. I mean, I believe in redemption, you know, and because like I said, I've changed a lot.
Yeah.
You know, but that's got to be obvious. That means taking ownership.
You know, and the things like, I don't even know what he's even told his current wife, you know, and she's a great person, you know, and like, you know, I have a great relationship with her because she's involved with my children, you know, and I try and again, just keep things cordial, keep things happy and, you know, everything. But I think sometimes that's taken lightly is like, you know, I'll never, like we were just at my son's birthday, you know, months ago, and we're all sitting in my kitchen and he pops up and says, aren't you guys all so happy? I brought us all together. And I'm like, who says that? You have 2 ex-wives here and your new wife, 4 children. And do you even like the things that you put me through? This is like, I deal with this trauma every day. And for you to joke about it, it's not funny. This is not funny. Like, it's not, again, there's no consequence for his actions, you know, but what can that consequence be? You know, what is holding him accountable? You know, like his family doesn't hold him accountable. You know, if that was my son, I would have a very long talk with him about the way that he treats people.
Yeah.
You know, and so I just feel like, you know, sometimes like the situation or our marriage is not taken seriously. Like, you know, that affected like my life, my children's lives. Like, this is going to be something that like my kids are probably going to deal with as they're older. Like, why was my dad, you know, with other, like, it's all going to come out, you know, and it's not funny. Like, this isn't funny that you've had 3 wives and 4 kids from 3 different people. Like, this is not funny. Why would you want to break up households?
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's, again, unfortunately, some things aren't meant for us to understand.
Yeah.
You know, like, it sucks, but this also, like, we also got to come to terms that, like, we don't know how things are going to play out.
Yeah.
You know, there's bigger forces at play.
Yeah.
When it comes to just life and everything.
Yeah.
You know, I've had to accept that a lot in life. Like, hey, you know, I'm not trying to like give you a lesson. No. Just for me and like certain situations in my life is all I can do is be the best I can be.
Yeah.
And be the example and move forward with that, you know, and if that's the furthest action I could take, then so be it. And yeah,
that's what I'm honestly trying to do. I'm just trying to be the best mom I can be right now. You know, I'm involved in my kids'
you're
sports.
still healing.
Yeah.
You know, you're working on this shit.
Yeah. And, you know, I just try and have a good relationship with him at this time, you know, or just like, you know, we're going to be in each other's lives, you know, and I just don't think he understands the stuff that he did, like how it truly affected me. And like, you know, like he's never dealt with that. He just jumped right into another relationship and got married and had another baby. You know, I feel like and again, like, I feel like that's why this pattern keeps happening, because he never takes accountability.
Yeah.
You know,
How, you know, moving forward, you know, I'm wondering, like, how do you think, you know, in the midst of all this, coming out of it, being a single mother, how do you think that's redefined your strength? Because, you know, also like a successful entrepreneur and all this stuff, you know, how do you think that's redefined things?
I look back and I feel like I always needed to depend on someone else to fulfill like my heart, you know, to make me happy, to make those feelings like I love you, you're beautiful, all those things. And yes, they're all nice to say and all that. But I'm truly at a point in my life, like I am so happy in the relationship that I have. And, you know, I love him dearly, like literally my best friend. But I'm also, I know at the end of the day, I'll be okay.
Yeah.
I'll be okay. And I don't need someone to fulfill that anymore for me.
That's the gold.
Yeah. And, you know, I'm able to sit here and not shed a tear about this anymore. And for me, it's like, wow.
You found it within yourself.
Yeah. Because I can talk about it now, like with you, and I can say like, you know what, I've learned like at the end of the day, I can do this by myself and I can do it. And I have the strength, I have the support, I'm constantly healing, but now I can heal with like an amazing partner beside me that like supports me, you know, like, and I acknowledge it. I say, oh babe, I'm so sorry for like, you know, popping off like that at you or being a little attitude, like that's on me. And he's like, hey, I understand. Thank you so much for, like, it's so healthy the way that we communicate. Yeah. And he understands that I'm overwhelmed with the children, you know, and these aren't even his kids, you know, and tomorrow he's taking my daughter to school. Like, he's like, hey, I gotta be at work early. You want me to drop her off at school? Yeah. You know, and her own father doesn't even do that, you know? So I feel like I'm able to really now, like I have worked on myself and I'm able to really like acknowledge when, you know, like just
you're able to accept when you're, you know, take ownership when you're wrong too. I mean, my wife all the time, she's like, Joe, I'm wrong. And I'm like, I know, it's okay. And I'm just kidding. No, but like,
I know what you mean.
That's a huge thing though. I think, being a man, like we don't want to, I don't know, like at the end of the day, like if I'm wrong, like I'm 100% like, babe, I apologize. Like I take ownership of that. And, but she does it too.
Yeah.
You know, she can recognize that. And I think it's great when both sides can be
100%,
you know, be willing to just set the pride aside and be like, you know what, that was my mistake of what I said or whatever the case is. Right. So, and you're coming to a place of that. And
you're learning together, you know, like
that's how you have a healthy relationship.
Yeah, no one's perfect. And, you know, you're going to have disagreements and arguments or whatever. It's really how like
you're individuals. You're supposed to have disagreements.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah. If we agreed on everything, like my wife and I, that wouldn't be authentic.
No.
She's her own person. I want her to be that.
Yeah.
You know, and that's fine.
Yeah. And he fully, like my my boyfriend, he fully lets me be myself. Yeah. Like, you know, like no judging, no, like just everything is just support. And it feels really good.
I feel you on that. It's really, I mean, my wife and I are in two different religions, you know, that's an extensive conversation we have, but we also have like really powerful conversations based off of that, you know, and that's, most people wouldn't be willing to pull that off, you know, but it's only helped us grow. Yeah. So it's really cool to hear that, you know, it's just this whole evolution, but you've had to go through hell to get there.
Yeah. 100%.
But there's power in that too for your kids, you know, the lessons you could teach and, you know, also be there for somebody going through some shit.
Yeah. and that like if you like you can do it, like you can be strong and get past anything as long as you literally put your mind to something. And whether it be business or, you know, you have a goal for yourself, you know, it's just truly like just dig deep and you can push all the, you can make it happen, push all the way through, you know, and no matter what that is.
Hell yeah, Mackenzie.
So.
Hell yeah. After everything you've been through, which is a lot. I mean, you know, high school was pretty traumatic. There was beauty there, like in athletics and stuff like that. Good thing you had that in your family as well. Like that's, I'd say, like given your situation, like to have some powerful things in your life though that were a strong foundation, I guess you could say. You know, I mean, you could have had a shitty family too.
Yeah,
you know,
no, for sure.
You know, and going through college and stuff, you're involved with a lot of cool shit, but like that's only a short time span into your 20s, and then you go into something that you've dealt with for years. It's been extremely traumatic, but you haven't given up. So getting back into it, you built a very successful business though. So talk about that dog business real quick, and you know, everything with that, and you know, what led you to start this at 26 years old?
So my passion has always been like animals. Literally since I was like a child, I volunteered at a neighborhood like farm when I was little. I used to drive my dad's John Deere lawnmower with like my little lunch bag all the way to the farm. And so I've always been like an animal lover, like literally since I was little. And I actually used to manage a pet spa in Wisconsin, like right after college, like probably for about a year before I moved to Tennessee. So, and then after doing that, I just really was like, hey, this is like for me. I really love like the dog business, the pet industry. And so when I moved down to Tennessee, I actually had like a vision that I was going to open a pet spa down here. But when I first moved, I didn't know anything about like where I was located. I didn't know anything about like the communities. So that's why I kind of dove into leasing, and just to kind of get like my bearings of where I was. And then the opportunity actually came up where I could manage a dog facility. And so I stopped leasing and I went to be a manager of a pet spa in Mount Juliet. And after that, I could kind of see like the owner just wasn't really happy and just wanted to kind of like focus more on like a different part of the pet industry. So one day I literally offered, I was like, hey, like if this is ever, you know, overwhelming for you or too much, like I have always wanted to like open my own pet spa. And at the time, my business partner, like my really good friend from Wisconsin, she was going through a divorce. And so she moved down here to Nashville. And so I had that support, that friend, you know, that like knew me forever, you know? And so we ended up buying the business and starting it literally from the ground up.
Was there any reluctance? You often hear like, don't go into business with friends. Was there any reluctance or?
So people told me that, but I knew right away, like, I trust this woman like with my life. You know, someone like if I won the lottery tomorrow and like had to have her bury $1 million, I know in 10 years that $1 million is still going to be there and not touched. You know, like I trust her, and she's a little older than me. So I had a lot of knowledge to learn from her because she was in the pet industry already. You know, she owned a few in Wisconsin. And so she was really a great mentor, like for me. She was just someone that like my dad was also like very business, you know, so I learned a lot from him, but having her like right here with me and just like we, you know, like built it together and really like bounced ideas off. And she has the hustle just like me. Like that lady, she is like one of the most hardworking people I've ever met. You know? And so I knew that we would go in this 100% together. Like both of us would be giving everything.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And so it was, you know, we took it from 30 dogs a day to within 5 years, we were up to 200 dogs a day at our facility. And, we literally blood, sweat, and tears, both of us. But if we didn't have each other, like, to bounce ideas, I always say, like, I couldn't have done that without you, and
Yeah.
she feels the same, because it is hard, like, you are at times putting your business before your family. You are there the long nights. We were working, shifts so that, we could save money, and then we didn't pay ourselves, so everyone thinks like, you own these business. Oh, you have everything, and, and you're making so much money, it's not like, you are grinding every single day.
You get to make your own schedule.
Yes.
Yeah. The cool part about that is that, like, your schedule is 24 hours a day.
Yeah, and if someone calls out, you're there working,
Yeah. So yeah, if you want to work all the time, that's
yeah. But I loved it.
Yeah.
Like, I love it to this day, and so we actually opened up a second location up on her property. And so that was like 4 years in. We kind of opened, we built a barndominium from the ground up and did more of like a country pet industry, like retreat. And then, like I said, I got into a lot of financial issues with my ex-husband, and, I had it under control. I was, paying the things I did, but I was like, how am I ever going to pay this back? Or how am I ever going to do this? And after our divorce, shortly after, it was like a sign from God. He, literally, we had an offer to buy our business.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, absolutely, because we got offers before, and we were like, no. And then finally we're like, let's think about this. With the economy. And I mean, we barely survived 2020, with the new small business. And so we both kind of talked about it. And at first, we both were like, I don't know if this is for us, we love this. Why are we going to stop? But it just was, it happened for a reason, you know? And she still, owns the one up on her property, and, she is able to kind of take a step away and enjoy her life. And I got an opportunity with the new company to stay on with them and work for myself still, but be like a consultant. And I love it. We built that business up. We made it, we grew it with our team. And it was so much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun, but it was exhausting, and, these conversations a lot with my parents, with my dad, like, is this a bad decision? Like, am I being greedy? Am I like, am I selling out? Yeah. Am I selling out? Is this, should I not do this?
Yeah.
And it was just, I was in a point in my life where I was also ready for not a change, but just something to take me to the next level. I was ready to, I sold my house, after the divorce. Once we bought this, I was able to get rid of that. So I had no connection with my ex-husband, I was able to buy my own house for myself and get away from that. And just, it felt like a fresh start.
Yeah. It was so obvious.
Yeah. And so I just believe, like, why did that happen? Why did we receive an offer after I got, it was just like, I feel like it was meant to be. Like, everything was, this is how it was supposed to play out. And, this doesn't mean that years down the road I couldn't open another one if I'm not happy. You always my dad always says, you take that and you run and you go and build knowledge and you learn from your mistakes. What would you do differently? And there's so many things, not so many. I think we built an amazing business and did things great, but you always learn from things. There's going to be things that I would do differently, you know?
I admire the fact that you were able to do it in the midst of, like, a lot of chaos too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what is that? It's almost like, what would you say that business represented to you at that time?
I was married to the business,
for
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I used it as, I loved it. And I think that was my happy place for so many years while dealing with that at home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I loved being at work. I enjoyed it. I loved it. If my kids were sick, I would bring them to the pet spa, and have them in the office with me. Like I wasn't staying home, or after I had my children, my mom would come down and help, but I was back at work, within weeks because I missed everyone. I enjoyed it. That was my happy place for so many years. And, I feel like if I didn't have that, I don't know, what have I crumbled? What have I been able to survive? What would have happened? But I was able to use that as like an scapegoat, but also it was something that was so much fun, and it was amazing because I was doing it also with like one of my best friends.
That's cool as shit.
So, but we both wanted a business just to treat people right and do the right thing, and have our employees work at a place that's fun, and we understand life. Like, hey, I didn't want to work every weekend when I was younger. I don't want you to work every weekend. Let's rotate. We saw the whole picture and tried to really bring a business, to the area, the community that could really just enhance other people's lives, really cool. Provide, we had 2 people that worked for us. That one now is like going to be a veterinarian. One person worked for me that they got to buy their first house, and so being able to be a stepping stone or be able to provide like a career, where someone can buy a home off of their career in the pet industry. I mean, that's amazing. Yeah. And so cool. We were able to provide that. And yeah, I loved it. And so, at first I was really nervous about, oh my gosh, how am I going to feel in this new role? Like, I'm not going to be as important, for years when you're the owner, everyone's calling you, everyone, you're important. Like everyone's, and so you kind of feel like that, like death of like, okay, not everyone needs you all the time anymore.
Kind of goes back to the control thing too. Yeah. You're giving up control.
I know. And so at first, like it was hard, but now I absolutely love it. Like I love what I'm doing. I feel I'm still very valuable in this industry. I feel valued by my current, employer. And I get to now, like, where it all rooted from being a leasing agent, doing things from the ground up. I'm helping this new company literally build pet spas from the ground up. And I'm helping that. And also like changing the standards of how we treat people, treat their dogs in the industry. Like I'm able to help and develop that with, the new owner and his director and stuff. So it's been a great experience. And I will say, like, I also get to enjoy my children. And I'm not on my phone all the time anymore. I get to enjoy their games. I get to help be the assistant coach at my daughter's soccer practice or soccer games, where like before, I don't know if I would have been able to do that, and so I'm happy I get this moment in time to really, being on my family and be present and all of that. So. Yeah.
Cause that growth time can take you away from presence. Yeah. Cause you 100%. Just get so hyper focused, cause people are like, you don't got to think about the future. And it's like, yeah, but when you're building something, you got to think about that
what's
too.
My 5-year goal,
Yeah. Like when you're providing, like you got to think about, okay, the future of it. Yeah. So in that role, it's a hard place you have to force yourself to be present in a lot of situations, I mean, I put a video out the other day. I was just talking about how, I wear every hat. So I got to post some shit online. I'm at home. Yeah. My daughter sees when I'm on the phone. Mm-hmm. I hate that. So I got to I'll go in the garage and be like
another room. Yep.
Because I don't want her to see it. I'd much rather just get it done away from her, because I don't want her to just connect me with always being my phone. You know what I'm saying? It can be like that.
For sure.
And I hear you talking about that free, I want to get to a point to where I can hire someone to edit everything and do this. And I just get to come in and record, but I can, have that freedom with my family. Yeah. That's everything. So, I think based off everything you told me, the timing of you selling that was the perfect time. It sounds to me like it was so meant to be.
I just couldn't not. Yeah. It was just like, wow, how this played out and everything. It was just like,
yep,
everything happens for a reason.
Super freaking cool. That's amazing. We're good on time, by the way. There's a couple of other things I want to ask you before we get to the end of this. I'm just trying to pick and choose because I have kind of a list of stuff. You already talked about how, like, you know, at first you struggled because the identity and purpose thing, but you're into consulting. You overcome that, and you seem to be at a good place. I do want to dive a little bit more into the healing, the internal work, right? Mm-hmm. Have you read back? You talked about the journal that you kept. Have you read any of that back to yourself?
So when I sent you that little blurb from it, that was probably one of the first times I've like looked at it in over like several months. It's hard for me to read it, to be honest.
Really? What do you feel?
I just get very like shaky with it. I just get anxious. It's like it just automatically triggers, like, you know, the anxiety, because I remember writing that and being like, you know, at one of my lowest. Mm-hmm. And I also remember the time that was going on and being in that situation.
Do you think that's maybe where your healing began?
Yeah.
For sure.
For sure. Just like talking it all out, or, you know, writing it all out.
Yeah.
I do feel, you know, I should continue. I feel like your work is never done. You know, your healing is never done completely. I probably, you know, like when you feel better, you still have to work on things. So I feel like I should probably pick it up again because it was a really healing thing for me. Mm-hmm. Besides this, I have not done therapy. You know, I haven't talked about this in a very long time, you know, and some friends that kind of know what has happened a little bit, you know, they tell me like, yeah, you probably should go talk to someone. You would, you know, get that all off your chest and you'd feel better and all that. And I want to, you know, but this was kind of my first step in talking about it. You know, I just didn't want to revisit it for a long time. So I just would suppress it, close my laptop, not read it, you know. Yeah. You know, my current boyfriend has never looked at that. No one's looked at that journal, you know, or that book or whatever that I've
It's yours.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it's just, I think like when you read those things and you relive it, I think that's why it's also hard to be to be healing, and that first step is always hard, you know, to open that back up and to read things and feel it again, because you have to feel it when you're reading those, you know?
Yeah. I am curious, you know, what I noticed like through all these things, you've been strong through it all. Yeah. Because you've kept going, but you've been silent. So what would you say to someone that's being strong and silent through their pain? You know, what would you tell them, given your experience?
Yeah, just don't wait too long. You know, like I've waited a long time to kind of come forward and talk about these issues. And, you know, I feel like if I probably would have, you know, dealt with the things when I was younger, you know, that freshman, I probably would have had better success in my adult life with relationships.
Oh, for sure.
You know, so I feel like just being silent and keeping it all in, I will say like sometimes I feel like that's why I'm emotionless. Yeah. You know, and I don't mean to be, you know, something can be really sad. And I feel like sometimes I'm like, where's my tears? Why aren't they coming out? You know, but I feel like because I've kept things in and I've been so like, you know, when I walked into my work, no one knew what was happening.
Really?
No one.
You ever just switch gears?
Yeah. And I did, because I, you know, was the boss, and I didn't want, you know, people to, you know, I mean, I had a few breakdowns in my office, you know, where my GM like holding me, consoling me, you know, like that happened very few times. And that was towards the end where I like could not hold it in. But before that, no one knew what was going on. And I think it's because I don't want people to feel like I just don't sometimes like to ask for help. You know, I just feel like I can do this by myself, and I'm fine, you know, and again, bringing up all this, there's just so much to unpack. It's hard to tell people and to have them understand, you know, it's so much stuff.
I'd say you've unpacked it quite a bit here.
Yeah. I've unpacked pretty much all of it.
Now you don't got to do that to a bunch of people. They can just come here.
I know. So, you know, this is my story, and this is what has made me who I am today. And truly, like, I feel like a whole different person than I was.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. The intent here wasn't, I could tell you didn't come here to dog anybody.
No.
I mean, this is your experience. The point isn't that. You came here to start, as a part of your healing journey. And that's just sharing your experience and your truth. You know what I'm saying? And I think, and I applaud you for it, because it takes balls to do that.
I feel lighter, I will say. I feel like, whew, I can breathe. And like, this is the first time I've really like said everything, of my story and my truth and my, my experience. And I do feel lighter, some of that anxiety has, at the beginning shaking, telling things. And now I'm able to sit here and talk to you about it and be strong, but it's taken a lot to get there, and I'm still healing, it's still going to take time, but I feel like this was really like a fresh beginning of just everything.
I'm grateful to be a part of it.
Yes.
So you did say that you kind of want another baby, but you've also feel like you've given everything to your kids.
I know.
Like what is that tension like teaching you?
Yeah. I would just love to, be able to experience what I never got to experience.
Yeah.
That with like a true partner, and I always wanted a big family. Like my dad always tells me, before you, Mackenzie, like we were going to have multiple kids and you kind of ruined it, and so my parents like literally say like they always wish they had 3 kids, it was just me and my brother. And I feel like I just don't want to be older and be like, oh, I should have had another, like that's my worry.
Yeah.
Because I've always really wanted to have a big family. And I love, like being able, like it was just me and my brother and I love that, but I love like big family energy too, where like your best friends are your siblings, you know?
For sure.
And so I don't know what will happen. I would love, like I said, to experience that finally for, the right time with someone and being able to be supported and just like have that whole experience. But, it has just been me and my kids, for a long time. And I love them so much that we've been through a lot, and I don't know what the feelings would be if I brought another child in, it's just those anxious anxiety feelings about it, and I'm sure I'll figure it out, years to come, but it's one of those things. I'm just not, I'm not sure what my future will hold with that.
If it happens, it happens.
I know.
Embrace the unknown.
Yes.
Mackenzie, what is your relentless pursuit?
Yeah. So I feel like I'm just continuing to work on my healing journey, and honestly, just being like really present in the moment. I feel like for my children, and they're just at such a young age right now that I want to be present in everything that they do. And just being able to just keep working hard and, see what my future is with, the company I'm with, and, just keep working hard and being present in the moment.
Hell yeah.
Kind of my goal.
Well, I'm proud of you, and keep taking that journey. I'm excited to follow along and see where things go for you.
Yeah.
And I have no doubts that people will gain something powerful from your story, because there's a lot of people that are being strong in the silence, and so to hear someone else that's been through that experience can hopefully liberate them or help do so.
Hopefully after seeing, they feel that urge like I did, to speak up and come in and, hang out with you for a bit.
Oh yeah. Hey, I'm down with it. It's been an honor to have you. I hope you know that I take this so seriously, and for you to come on here and share things you haven't shared with anybody. I mean, you have no idea how serious I take that. So thank you for doing so. And I'm extremely grateful for the opportunity. And any final thoughts?
Just keep doing what you're doing. You're killing it, Joe.
I appreciate you, Mackenzie. Hey, you can move that mic. I'm going to shake your hand. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Until next time.
Peace out.